I asked the Ashtar Command to clear all the area, the whole house. I asked the Christ beings of light to clear all everything. I asked the Ashtar Command and the medical team of the command to clear my body. And good evening, everybody. This is Encounters, the late night spiritual UFO talk show. If you missed last night's amazing show, last night's show is on my AshtarCommandSpaceshipNews channel on YouTube. Last night's show was another amazing show. We did some C5 with Nikki down in South Carolina, and we got to see, well, if it was close enough, it would have been a large orb type ship. She explained it. We also had Pete Star TV, my friend over in Ireland. And hey, Chesno, good to see you. Everybody coming in here, all of you all over the world. You're watching the #1 late night UFO spiritual talk show on media. We can't count CNN, NBC, and CBS and all those networks because they don't have any kind of late night anything of what we're doing. YouTube, maybe big screen setups in the background and people having suits on talking to official leaders in Washington. But on Encounters, this is where it's happening. We even do live CE5s on our show with people wherever they are, as we did last night. We've done it before last year, and we'll continue to do CE5s here on the show. If someone has something going on that's beautiful, and they're going outside and the UFOs or the spaceships appear, we will continually do shows like that. That's why this show is what it is. This is why we're out of this world. The show is, and I am too. Many of you are from other planets. Welcome to the show. Hey, Nikki, great to have you on. You were incredible last night. And that show is recorded, by the way. It's on my YouTube channel now. Anyone who missed last night's show, when you get a chance over the weekend, unless you're watching the Super Bowl, or before the Super Bowl, or even after, whatever it is, you know what to do. Go to my YouTube channel, AshtarCommandSpaceshipNews. You can see all the past shows, including last night's incredible show with Nikki, Pete Star TV, and also our first guest, who we had on that talked a little bit about when they were a kid. You'll see it on my YouTube channel. So welcome, everybody. A collective welcome to all of you. Mia, Loopy, Vincent, all the people coming here, please share and like. We want to get up to 100,000 likes tonight. We want you, if you're not following us, everybody follow each other. Collective follow each other. We want to amp up everybody. And also follow me. I want to get to 100,000 followers before summer. I want to do more reach out to the whole world with Encounters. I know there's millions of people on here on TikTok that are into all this stuff. There might be light workers. They have categorized tags. You can do starseed. All these people that are into all this stuff, and we're only reaching a very small segment of the TikTok aware population. So if you know people that are aware or people that are very interested, let them know about it. It's really important that we spread our viewership even farther. One of the things I've learned in my media teachings with Pacifica Radio years ago when I studied journalism, and then being in radio since the 70s and then being into this media for about 21 years, going 20 years on NPR radio, is that I'm really wanting to let people share their stories. When people have sightings or things that are happening, we can do C5s on our program. Where else are you going to see that? Most of the UFO shows on Discovery Channel are all recorded documentaries. They're all recorded documentaries. And documentaries could be good, some of them anyway, not all of them, some of them. But when you can do live broadcasting like this and have people say, oh, Commander, I think I have some UFO activity above me right now. Let me go outside and we're going to kind of we're going to go live. That's what makes this show unique. When we have people that can share stuff like this gentleman in Long Island the other day did, talking about Area 51. And he had cousins or people related to his family. And he tells me that, how'd you know this? There are things that I do know. Whatever it is, I've been gifted with the ability to know certain things. and I don't even have any kind of clearance of anything. So I just am humble that I'm able to do the things I do when I do them, whatever it is. We're going to have guest interviews tonight as well. We'll get to that in a little bit. And if you're going to come on live with me, I need to know what you're going to talk about. Added me. Okay, added me. Omar, good to see you. Omar CBFW. I want to give people the protocol of the show in terms of how the show operates. We keep it professional. You have to be over 18, no kids on the camera, no vaping, no smoking, no drinking. What else is there? I know those are part of no foul language too. No foul language. That's really key. No language that's foul. If you're used to using foul language in the street, with your friends, not on the show. Be conscious of what you say. No kids. Yeah, that's right. No kids, no foul language. We want to have mature interactions with my guests. And that's really important because I care about the show and I care about everyone out there that's in the viewership. Will you tell me the name of your YouTube channel? Yes, it's Nikki. It's AshtarCommandSpaceshipNews. AshtarCommandSpaceshipNews. And I've had that channel for years. But since I started this show, I just recently, last year, transferred all the shows over to there for people that might have missed them. Initially, I didn't realize I could do that because I didn't realize you can actually take your live recordings and do that. But I do that with all my shows. And a lot of people are able to see them, which I think is important. Yeah, Omar, CBFW, what would you like to share with us, Omar? Before I know you want to come on live, but I need to know what related to the topic you wish to talk about. Do you have a visitation, UFO sighting? What is it you wish to share with our audience? Hey, Dawn, good to have you with us. Oh, you're a UFO encounter. Okay. So we'll bring Omar on here, and he'll be our first guest, and we'll welcome him to the show. Omar, let me see here. If you have over 1,000 followers, Omar, can you come on camera? And again, if I bring you on camera again, I have to just mention to everybody, no smoking, vaping, drinking, or anything on the camera, no kids. You have to be over 18 and all that stuff. And I'm assuming we're good that way. So I know foul language. So here we go.
How you doing, sir?
Give me a second. I got to bring it back up. I'm having some trouble with the TikTok here. I'm going to bring it back up. Give me a minute. Let's see here. We'll do this again. Let's see here. I'm going to do this. Okay, now it's good. TikTok's got some problems. It glitches.
Sir, do I have to get on camera? I'm eating food right now. I don't really want to get on.
Oh, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry. If you're eating food, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay.
How old are you?
I'm 23 years old.
Okay, very good. And what did you want to talk about?
Okay, so I am from the East Coast, right? Me and my friend and his stepbrother, I'd say back in like 20, I'd say I was like maybe 14 or 15. So that was either back in 2015 or 2014, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And we, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. You know what I mean? We were puffing on green, right? But we were on his back porch. And I know I didn't just like, I know we weren't like, what is that called? Hallucination? We weren't hallucinating.
Hallucination.
I tell you, sir, we literally were sitting on the back porch, just chilling. And this circle thing literally is just hovering above us maybe at least 115 feet up in the air, 100 feet, something like that. It was crazy. It was crazy because the thing is it disappeared. Like it literally just disappeared. Like it like flashed away. Like it was crazy, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like
How
I
long? How long did it last for you? How many
Oh, it
minutes?
lasted like at least 40 seconds.
40 seconds. Yeah, I've heard of sightings that don't last long, but they're pretty impressive. But you probably wished it was longer, right?
Yeah, it was insane. Me and my friends, like my friend Caleb, I talked to him every single day, and he's seen a similar post about UFOs and stuff like that, and he sent me the link to it, and he was like, "Dude, I'll never forget that day." And I was like, "Seriously, like nobody will ever believe us. Like, no way."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's
Wow.
insane. And at the same time, my background is Egyptian. And I
Egyptian.
believe,
Okay.
yeah, I believe that the Egyptian pyramids weren't built by humans. There's no way that we're just the only people that are in the universe. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, there's just no
No,
way. Like, there's no way. There's no
no,
way. If
your
there's us,
instincts
then
are
there's others. If there's
well,
us, then there's others.
and your instincts are right. You're on a show. If you've only watched the show for the first time, I can tell you only contactees since I was in the '60s. I've had contact with positive humans who are ETs on a spaceship. That was my first contact as a kid. So you're
Yeah.
right on the money. You go with your senses. You know what you're talking about. You're absolutely right there. Absolutely right there.
It
Yeah.
was just crazy, man. I wish I could go back to that day. It was like, ever since that day, I could swear to you,
Well,
I
do
could
you
swear to
think
you that my life has changed since then.
Oh, yeah, here's what I want you to do. Based on that, and I've done workshops, I've taken people on journeys off planet that are real to a big golden ship. Here's what I want you to do based on the short moment of hearing your story. If you meditate, you remember what that craft looked like from when you saw it, correct?
No, at the same time, it's like I can remember it, but I can't. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
you kind
It's
of
one of those
described
things.
it.
It's one of those things that you look at, but like you remember it later on, but then you
Hmm.
can't. You know, it was so long ago, man. I was a teenager. You know what I mean? And now I'm
Right,
20.
now I understand that. But you did describe a little bit about it just now.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But like, it's
That's from memory.
yeah, exactly. But like, it's like I can't remember exactly like what it looked like, but I know it was a circular thing. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
So here's what I want you to do. I'm going to help you out here with a short moment that you've shared what you do remember. Do you do it? Do you do any meditation?
Um,
You know what I mean by
yeah,
meditation,
yeah.
just like
I
clear
know I
meditation.
know what meditation is, but I mean, I believe in a certain religion, and we just look at
Yeah.
meditation as
Well,
a sin. So I don't do
well,
that.
forget about the religion. The religion can get people into trouble on this planet. 3D religions. I'm here to bust the matrix. Even religions, whatever they are. So
Yeah,
because I come from Mars, so I don't believe in religion. I
you
only
come
believe in
from
the religion of
Mars.
love. Yes, I do.
You were born on
I'm from
Mars.
Mars. I was born here, but I came from Mars to here. I picked a particular biological family. I know everything about Mars. There's 10 to 15 million people living on Mars, which people in NASA lie about. There's a lot of things you're lied about. So one
But
of the
you
things is the
have you
biggest
been to
lie.
Mars before, sir?
I came from Mars.
So you've been there. You've been on the planet Mars.
I lived there before I came here. I came here on mission. I came into a human body here, and I'm human there too. There, I have longer hair. Here, I don't have long hair.
So where were you born?
I was born here initially. My family's from Mars, but I came to Earth on mission, and I had a biological family which no longer lives here. They passed on. They moved on. I'm physically here as a human. Not to get it too complicated, I have Martian consciousness, Christ consciousness, human consciousness, and I work with a group of beings from off planet called the Ashtar Galactic Command. So this is probably all new to you, and
Can
it'll
I ask you
take.
a question?
Yes,
I'm not trying to get personal, but I mean, if you can answer, if you don't want to answer, but just hear me out and just hear me out today.
yes,
Do you have children?
yes.
And are your children from Mars?
My children were born here, but they also are I only have one child, but she's very much very knowledgeable. She doesn't talk about it much, but she has very a great deal of knowledge, and she's very quiet about it. Once in a while, she does talk about it.
So
So
have you?
what I'm trying to say is, Omar, everyone is not from here. The illusion is that you've been. We come up with our belief systems because same person, growing up here, I was indoctrinated to everything I was taught in the '60s in my high school. Whatever schooling we had. In college, there was a little bit different, but in our younger years, we are indoctrinated through media, TV. There's all kinds of religions on Earth, and there's nothing wrong with the fact that they exist. But all these
Yeah.
religions divert us from cosmic reality and cosmic truth, and that's what I'm here to do: is bust the matrix. So I have no religion. No,
Uh-huh.
nobody. The people. You have to understand something. The star
Yeah.
people from other planets have absolutely no religions. There's no churches, no temples. There's no I'm a this person, I'm a that person. They all are centered on one thing. They're all Christ consciousness. Christ consciousness exists on all the higher vibrational frequencies of every planet in the world. So I'm glad you're here because I'm giving you information you probably never in your life ever heard of. You probably never met somebody who is honestly born here. And I always tell
Yeah.
people, yes, I am human, but I'll be also telling you that I'm not human. I'm not from this planet. I'm from beyond this earth. There are things I know that I know. There are things I know about things that are going to happen. If I know them, I'll share them. I don't read any websites. I don't go to anybody's agenda. I don't believe any one person is the leader of something. No one's the leader of anything. Where we come from, everybody's equal. Everybody is a rainbow of the galactic family of light. And I teach people that. So I have people say, I'm this person. When you talk about the pyramids, you're right. The pyramids were built by space people, not by slavery, which is the lie that's been perpetuated in documentaries. They were built by space. All the pyramids around the planet, in the Inca, in Central and South America, they were guided by space people, not by people that were from Earth. There were galactic civilizations for billions of years that came to Earth. Many of those things, Lemuria, if you study the Atlantis, before the pyramids in Egypt, way before the pyramids, there were advanced civilizations that actually existed there. Before the pyramids were built, long time ago, there were no deserts there. That was a lush, beautiful area. Things happened in billions of years. There were certain galactic wars on the planet that occurred. And then later on, all these other galactic civilizations came to assist those people at that time period. Just to give you some rundown, I'm giving you a very brief synopsis of myself, but I think that's important.
Have you ever been to Egypt?
No, I've never been able to travel to Egypt, no. But I'm fascinated with the pyramids because I think they hold the key. There's a lot of galactic knowledge there. The Sphinx, I had two people that were alive. They're from Tennessee. They're not here anymore. Years ago, before the internet, they sent me information underneath the pyramids, where the Sphinx is, way deep below the sand. There's actual vehicles that go into the inner earth. From where that point is, have you heard about the inner earth or the hollow earth? Ever? Okay. There are vehicles that are in certain points of the planet and where that Egyptian area is, where the pyramids are, where the Sphinx is, inside the depths, probably, not sure how far deep, but it's deep. There is actually an entrance with vehicles that are advanced that will take them into the inner earth. The inner earth is where there are civilizations, advanced civilizations or more. And these civilizations are way advanced than we are. Now, people say, well, Earth, I never heard of it. We heard that the Earth is a solid core and there's nothing other than lava. That's also a lie perpetuated in our science classes throughout history, throughout most of media history on science about the Earth. The Earth is not a solid rock. There is another frequency within the Earth, which is called the hollow Earth. There are advanced civilizations that live in peace there. There are all kinds of things within the Earth that we don't know about. And they never taught you this. They even never taught me that when I was growing up in the 60s. It's the same thing. No one talks about it. Did you ever get taught in school? Oh, let me tell you guys about the inner Earth. Your science teacher, they won't talk about it, even if they knew about it. Most of them don't. But you live on a planet that is a surface world and also an inner world that is way more advanced than the surface world.
Do you feel like you'll ever go back to Mars?
Yes, I will. At some point, I will go back to Mars. But my goal here is, once we get to the liberation of this planet Earth, once we have contact, which we're going to have, then I will take a trip to Mars.
How?
I also will.
With what? What's gonna, like, what are you gonna?
How am I going to go there?
Yeah, what are you going to travel?
A spaceship. When the spaceships come here, you don't know about this either, which I can understand. There's going to be contact happening at some point soon, and I don't put a date on it. But when it does happen, we'll be able to, those that are ready to go to other planetary systems, go back to our home worlds, live on Earth if we wish to stay here. Our planet is going into a different frequency. We're ascending into a different state of consciousness. So when you get into meditation, if you start doing what I'm suggesting, forgetting your religious beliefs and connecting about your story about that ship or that spaceship, you'll not only remember who they were. If you didn't feel any fear from it for 40 seconds or 20 seconds, you will actually be in contact spiritually with those beings on that ship from when you were a teenager. When people tell me their stories like this, I find it fascinating. I love these stories because even if you don't remember everything, you do have a memory in the back of your mind of what happened. That's why you came on here. You shared something that you did remember. So you do remember something, but all I'm going to do is help you remember the whole thing. And then if you don't feel any fear about what you had actually experienced as a teenager, you have the ability, everyone does, to actually reconnect with those beings that you have connected with. And when you do the meditations, what I teach people is use ambient space music. You can use your Alexa app, YouTube, whatever, and go into meditation and put yourself into a Christed conscious state, which is the highest state of consciousness. It goes way beyond earth-based religion. It has nothing to do with
You said
religion.
Christ is?
Christ consciousness. It has nothing to do like with being religious or Christian or whatever. The true Christ consciousness is universally beyond earth. It's a consciousness that exists throughout the higher realms of consciousness. All the planetary star people, the peaceful people from out other planets, they all operate in oneness with Christ consciousness. I call it cosmic Christ consciousness. So it's not like going to a church and sitting there watching somebody on a cross that they created that makes it look like this person died on a cross, or going to some Bible thumping person and they're hitting you over the head with a Bible or whatever the religion is. It's way beyond religion. So
Okay.
I'm here to do is bust people's religious beliefs too,
Quick
to
question.
get them into that cosmic state.
Are you do you consider yourself a human?
I consider myself not only human, but also non-human. And my consciousness is multidimensional, to put it that way. When I say multidimensional, I have an earth conscious. I can live on earth and live within the earth reality. I also have a cosmic consciousness, which means I have a consciousness beyond what I've been taught here. I have a Christ consciousness, which is called cosmic Christ consciousness, which means I operate always in a consciousness of a higher state of love and understanding of all things that exist.
So you believe that you're human, and then you believe that you're non-human.
That's right. I'm human and non-human at the same time. I know that might not make sense now, but I have my consciousness is multi-conscious.
Mm-hmm.
I can switch directions. I'm with the Ashtar Command. I'm a talk show host for many years on NPR radio. Thank goodness for that. I enjoy what I do. I've been talking about this subject for years. I've had many sightings of spaceships since I was a kid. So I'm like an open book. You ask me a question, I'll be honest and I'll answer it if I can. So I enjoy your questions because those are great questions.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You have a lot to think about. It's only the first time you're on here, and we welcome you here, man. If you stick around and watch my show regularly when I'm on here, which is usually at night, you'll meet a lot of people here that are all having different experiences. It's pretty amazing, just like
Yeah, no
you.
doubt. No doubt. I'm a follow you, man. But I'm a go ahead and bounce. It was good talking to you. All right, boss.
Hey, man, take care and enjoy your food and have a great night.
Oh yeah.
This is
Take it easy.
all right, Omar. That was Omar. Let me see if I can pull him out here. Wait a minute. Here we
Copy.
go. All right, that was our first guest. That was a great guest, great guest. Hello, everybody, friends at furries. And this is the kind of show I do. I love people that don't have a lot of background in this stuff. It's just great. And I love questions because I'm not afraid to answer your questions. I'll be straight honest, and I think I've helped them a little bit there. It was just the beginning of a relationship, and it's nice to he has some great questions, excellent questions. Now, there's one person here I want to bring on, and let's see if I can bring him on here. I saw him saying he had many sightings. If he's still here, it was just the beginning. He came in. The person that said I had many sightings. I'm going to go backwards and see if I can. This is encounters. The spiritual. Let's see. Who was the person that had many sightings? Somebody. I'm going backwards to the people that came in here, and I know it was a person I've not had on my show before. I'm going to find him. This is encounters. I'm your host, CmdrAleon. I am from Mars for people that are just, coming here. So if you're wondering how I'm breathing on Earth if I'm from Mars, I was born here. I'll use the term starseed. People, if you heard the term starseed, maybe not. I'm going to define what the word starseed means. Starseed essentially means that you are from the stars and you choose to be seeded or born with a biological parent on Earth. It could be that you're in Europe, Asia, Africa, wherever you are, and that's your parents on a human level. So then as you grow older, you remember and you start having experiences, seeing spaceships or UFOs, and you kind of have constant things like that happening. That's usually your star family reconnecting with you, okay? So starseed, if you don't know what the definition of it is, I've come up with a definition a long time ago last year, is that you come here on mission, you forget sometimes why you're here, you start remembering, your memory gets jogged as you get older, and you start remembering that you're not just a human being here. You're here for a greater purpose, a greater reason, right? And then as you get older, you explore different things other than what you've been taught in school to realize, well, wait a minute, I'm having visitations. Some of you have had visitations. Some of you are seeing regularly beautiful ships, orb ships, all kinds of stuff. And so right? And I'm going to, I think it's Star Runner. Was it Star Runner or who was it here? Somebody earlier said they had many sightings, and I'm trying to find that person. I'm gonna also bring Friends with Fairies up here. Friends with Fairies from Vermont. And bring other people up if you want to. Chesno, if you feel like coming up, let me know. You know what the button is. Well, I can't find a person. Whoever it was that said initially have had many sightings, something to that effect. Say hello again and tell me, and I'll bring you up here. They're somewhere in our audience here, somewhere. I went scrolling backwards. Where is he here? When I was a little boy, I lived in Fort Hood and seen 3 orbs. Ooh, that's interesting. Let's see. Mojo, we'll bring you up. Again, I just want to let people know you have to be over 18, no foul language, no smoking, no vaping, no drugs, no drinking. And I think that's pretty much everything. And we'll bring you on as a guest and you can share your story. So Mojo, we're going to try to bring you up. And if you've never been up live, Mojo, there's a thing that says accept a request. And then we can actually, and no kids, that's right. You have to be over 18, no kids. Oh, no, thank you. Okay, Mojo. Let me see who's in there. We're going to bring up Friends with Fairies. And I'll bring up Clifford in a moment or two. Let's see here. Hey, April, good evening.
Hi everybody.
How you doing?
Good. I'm doing real good.
And Mojo, don't worry about it. We're on here most nights at 11. So, we're going to follow you, Mojo. I think I'm following you. So when you do have time, I am following you now. Follow me back. When you do have time to relax and come on, you're welcome to do it. So we appreciate that. Go ahead, April. How you doing?
Good. I think you're looking for Star Truther 64. I have had
Yeah.
contact every day.
Yeah. Are they here?
I don't know if they're still here. It looks like they may still be.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get them on there. Let's see here. User 6292557. You have to have over 200. If you have over 200 followers on TikTok's rules, you can come on my show live with audio. So you need to get up to 200, and then we can have you on if you have anything related to the whole subject matter. If you have over 1,000 followers, folks, that are watching Encounters, you can come up live. And again, we'll always ask people before we have anybody on live what you want to come up live for. It has to be non-paranormal, related to the subject of spiritual UFO subject matter. It could be starseed stuff. It could be your encounters with spaceships, visitations. We want to keep everything really focused. I'm staying away from all that other stuff. I know sometimes it kind of gets in there because people have both experiences. But if it's paranormal, let's just keep the paranormal away from encounters. I simply want to stay away from that stuff. And April, good evening.
Hi. So this evening at sunset, I went outside and I was looking at the sunset because it was quite breathtaking tonight in the mountains. There's clouds started to come in, but just under the clouds, it was like really vibrant orange. And I looked
Wow.
up, and in between the mountains, there is a teardrop shaped ship just sitting there watching the sunrise too. About 45 minutes that ship was sitting there. I got it in
Wow.
video. I sent it to you.
Oh, good. I'll have to take a look. Teardrop ships I'm familiar with. Historically, they're one of the types of ships that have been seen by people periodically. The teardrop ships. They look like a tear.
Yes.
They can be very much translucent, or they can be solid. But a teardrop ship is usually a very high frequency, high dimensional spaceship from beyond Earth. So that's very beautiful.
Yeah, it was really, really something to see. It was pretty far away because it was way, way up in the mountains, but I was able to zoom in on it and just capture it. And I was just videoed it for a little while, and I, shortened the clip and posted it. It was actually something to see. It was pretty cool. It
Well,
was there for.
I can't wait to take a look at it. I'll definitely take a look at that for sure. It's just crazy. I had the other day, whatever it was earlier in the week, I think I had pulled, it's funny, it hasn't affected me any. I pulled a muscle, and today I just been relaxing. I was going to go out and do things, get ready to do the light garden, but I this muscle thing really took over, and then I had to do meditations, and I asked it for Jesus Christ, and I asked that they just heal that. I always do healings for other people in my workshops, and I'm saying, okay, I need something major to be done here, because somehow whatever I did, I did. You have pull muscle sometimes, and I said it didn't affect my consciousness. My whole consciousness is like lit up, but I was like, okay. So I've been just relaxing today, and I was looking forward to tonight. I'm really happy to be here. So yeah, it's good to be here. I just been doing a lot of meditation, relaxation, and chilling out today, so to be prepared to come on tonight.
Is
So
it
that's
helping?
it's helping a bit. I've been asking for the Christ to. It's a lot better than it was earlier. But I'm just sleeping out here tonight on in the chair that I have a comfortable chair. So when I go off air, I'll be sleeping out here tonight to sleep. But I feel good. I'm just I'm just wanting to get rid of it as quickly as possible, and so I can do things. I'm able to walk and all that, but it was really painful earlier, and
Yeah, you
I've been
probably have
just.
a lot of swelling going on in there. I would suggest. I used to be a massage therapist. I would just some little suggestions. Try to keep it stretched, and also, but not too much. You don't want to aggravate it. And also, when you sleep tonight, try to elevate your legs to take the pressure off your back.
Oh
And
yeah,
that
I
will.
have one. I have one of these chairs that you can put it up, like it goes up. It's
Right.
like what, a rocking chair, but
Yeah.
it's like soft. It's not leather, so I feel like I'm in a spaceship sitting here all day. I haven't been sitting. I've been getting up. I've been eating and everything. So, but I feel good to be here and be with everybody and do my show. You know, this chair is very comfortable. My cat likes to sit on it because she loves this chair. So sometimes I have to move her in the morning when I have my coffee, so I can sit on my chair. But other than that, the commander's doing good. I'm just look. I was had enough time to meditate and do a lot of things, and I just think we're in a beautiful space. So many things happening, so many beautiful things, and I keep thinking about April 13th. That's our first. We're gonna have two different contact events with Grace. She's gonna do a beautiful event up in Ledford, where actually I've been there to the casino at Mohegan Sun, so that's gonna be beautiful. And also the event we're doing out in the field at the apple orchard. I'll be making a video about that soon, pretty soon, I think, to get people prepared for that. And we're going to be out on the field at 8 o'clock on April 13th. And we're going to do a C5 event there. And we're hoping to have some really beautiful Christy contacts with our, space brothers and sisters. We're very, as April knows, and Chesno is in our group, and others who've heard about it. We're very well trained in what we do, but we also bring a very loving spiritual prayer and meditation. And before we start anything, we make sure that we clear all the area, because people do like to go up there and hang out at night, sometimes. So we know we clear all the energies out of that area of the orchard. We put in a shield of light, and then we do a lot of things to start before we start going live for April 13th. When we're there, we'll be doing a meditation, very strong Christed prayer. We're using Stephen Greer's meditation audio. So everything that we do is very, very important. And, we want to make sure everyone is having a most beautiful experience with us when we do this kind of stuff. So that's just a little PR announcement for our C5 in April. And just your story about the Tear Drop spaceship.
Yeah,
To me,
I've had two pretty significant encounters the last couple of days.
mhm,
Well, three actually, but one I talked to you about privately. But the other one was the rainbow star that I've been seeing that is an orb star slash being, and after it started, it followed me home from work. And I was quite surprised because I wasn't, because usually I see it up in the sky over my property, and
right.
every once in a while it'll move positions, but I
Yeah.
didn't know this thing could travel. And I'm coming home from work, and this thing's following along that like a few miles up above my car, just
Oh
following
my
along
God.
with me, followed me home, went right along with me. So I got out of the car and I said hi, and I just set out to standing out there and outside talking to it, and it's bleeping and interacting with me, and it didn't come too close. Probably I would say it was probably like a mile or so up.
Hmm.
But it was definitely interacting with me. I asked if I could give it a name, so I had something to call it. They don't have a need for names because of their communicate telepathically. But this being was, he was more than happy for me. I picked out, threw a couple names out. He picked out Mikey. It's a male. It's a male being, star being,
Hmm.
of those little rainbow ones that everybody keeps saying they're actual
Hmm.
little beings. It was
Hmm.
actually pretty cool. But he interacted with me, let me get some pictures of him, and I posted it. You could see him smiling. He did this whole little face where it looked like he had sunglasses on, and he kept changing his form, and it was really
Yeah.
cool. He's actually like did a little photo shoot for me. It was kind of fun. But I
So,
named him Mikey, and
Mikey.
that's the name he chose, and so that's his name now is Mikey. So I'm in hope
Interesting.
that when I come down on the 13th that Mikey's going to come too. Hopefully
Yeah.
he'll be out there too and interact with us while we're out there.
Yeah, and like I said, once I get this together, once I get the date set, in our Connecticut group, I'm sure we'll have a place. I know locally, I'm sure we'll have a place for you to stay for the night after it's over,
Oh,
so you'll not be stuck or something.
oh no,
We
I'm not worried
no,
about that. I have a brand new car, and I'm talking about getting a motel or something close by. So we'll get the deets worked out.
we'll get it worked out. And
Yeah.
speaking of which, if you are interested in our April 13th gathering in Connecticut, for folks who can make it, we will be doing a major C5. That'll be the first one. And then on the 20th, Grace's has another event that will have a place to stay inside, like a egg-shaped building. I don't know where that would. I know Ledger because I've been there many times. I don't know where that is. It must be on the reservation or near it. But so we're having two back-to-back events in one part, what I call Central Connecticut, where we are, and another major event that Grace is coordinating in Ledger, Connecticut. So if Grace comes on tonight, she can kind of talk about that a little bit more. Um, yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going on. If you want to come to, uh, I can't speak for the C5 event in Ledger. You can contact, when Grace is on here, she'll tell you how to, once she has, the event is listed on Facebook. She's on Facebook, and I think I'll see if she's put any video on here. So we'll find out. But there's a lot going on. I'm also going to bring on with us Clifford. Clifford's waiting patiently, and I know he's there. Hopefully, unless he's been on a spaceship taken off. Hey,
Clifford, the
Cliff, how
man
you
with the
doing?
beard.
Hello.
The man with the
How are you?
beard, Cliff, the bearded space person. How you doing, Cliff?
All right.
Hi,
Good to
Clifford.
Good.
have.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
I wanted to let you know that that was the Star Truther 64 that you were looking
Oh,
for.
is he still here?
I don't think he's on here anymore. I had to scroll
Yeah,
way back to find him.
yeah. I think he was on for just a few minutes. I would have loved to have interviewed him about what he's talking. Hopefully, Star Truther
Yeah.
will
But the,
come
the other
back.
night, the other night you mentioned something about when you was at a doctor, there was a lady that was sick, and I believe you said you prayed and you were told to put your arms around her.
Yeah,
to
this is last year. I did a workshop, and
yeah,
I at a place called the Red Barn, which is a beautiful space. It's a metaphysical space. It's a barn, and there are all many different modalities of people that do healings and teachings and all kinds of metaphysical stuff. I did a workshop there where I took people off planet. I've talked about, when I take people off planet to the golden ship.
yeah,
When I came back with everybody, we had everyone in a circle, and she was right across from me. So what I did was, I for some reason, she was crying. I said, "Why are you crying?" I thought she was happy. She was in pain. Her whole body was in pain. I said, "Why?" She has sciatica. So then, for whatever reason, something happened with me as I'm sitting down, still looking at her. I said, "Let's close." I'm going to close my eyes, and all of a sudden, I see this orange golden form, like just beautiful energy coming into my visual being, and I just saw it coming in. Next thing I know, then I ask her, and then I say to her, "Well, you're going to be healed." I just like said outright and without any confusion. I said, "You're going to be healed." So I closed my eyes again, and then I said, "Can I come?" Well, before I closed my eyes, I said, "May I come up to you?" Because you always have to ask. You can't
right,
assume that. So I asked her if I can come up to her, and I said, "You'll be healed." I went up to her. I said, "Can I put my arms around you?" And I put my hand over the center of her head. I gave her. I was hugging her, and then as I did that, I was like, you can't see my hands now, but I had one hand here like this. This is her head below me, and I was holding her. And then as I was holding her, I lost track of time. I mean, time did not exist for that moment. Then when I came back, opened my eyes, I whispered to her, like, and the whisper was, "You're healed." I can't whisper, "You're healed," or talk low, "You're healed."
yeah,
So when I did that, I let go, and then I went back to my seat right across from her. I sat down, and the one thing that came to me was, the question was, "How do you feel?" She says, and she was crying. I said, "How do you feel?" She said, "The pain's gone. Whatever you did, the pain's gone completely from my body." I said, "I did nothing." So I finally learned from my psychic friend, who was the friend of the person that was hurting. She was also in the group. She said, "You're a conduit." "What do you mean I'm a conduit?" Says, "You actually, the Christ came to you, and for whatever reason, you're able to, the Christ will use your vehicle to heal somebody." And
yes,
I said, "Oh, that," and so I learned then, this is earlier last year when that happened at the workshop. Once I was able to sit and meditate on that and understand what that meant, I was fine with it, because I knew it was the Christ that was using me as a vehicle to assist this person. And it was really strong, very powerful. So, and plus, I always work in Christ consciousness, but I never had that situation occur where I was getting up saying, "You're going to be healed," because I would never say that to somebody.
yeah.
But
Um,
it's so
the
that's what
reason,
happened based on your
the
question.
reason, the reason why I asked about that is because when my niece Sheila was sick, they went to the hospital and took X-rays, and they said she had a spot behind her ovary that they believed was cancer.
Hmm.
And her grandmother, my mother-in-law, passed away from cancer, and they called up and asked her because my wife knew when I prayed, they everything always happened what I prayed about. And she said, "Will you go over and pray on Sheila?" So I said, "Well, I have to pray first because Sheila's the kind of person that was doing all these witchcraft. Um, I don't know, writing out different spells and stuff.
Yeah.
She wasn't into church or nothing." And so I said, "Well, let me pray about this first." And I told God, I explained what the situation and what I was told. Basically, like what you did, I was used like a conduit. And I was told to wrap my arms around her, go over and wrap my arms around her and send the healing through me into her from Christ. And that's what I did. And when she went back to the hospital 2 weeks later, they wanted to see how big it got. They took another set of X-rays to see if it grew, and it was completely gone.
Yeah.
But that's basically
That's
the same thing. They used me, and there was one other person I healed that way too. By I said, "Put my hand where your pain is," and I did the same thing. And I just said, "I'm just going to ask for him to send the healing through my hand." and that's what
Right.
I did. It's basically the same exact thing what you did.
Yeah. So essentially, when we talk about this, there are people, and it can happen to anybody in this room. It's not exclusive to anybody. If you become a conduit, it's not say, okay, now I want to be a conduit. It's not like, okay, everyone's racing to be a conduit. Come down to door number 1 and I'll give you a ticket so you can now become a conduit. You'll now be conduit number 1. You're conduit number 45. Even though you're not number 1 conduit, you're still going to be a
Right.
conduit, right? What I'm saying is when things happen like that, you don't force it to happen. You can't. You
No,
can't
you
ever
don't.
know. In my workshop, I never even knew that was going to happen. I didn't even know she had pain. She came to experience this. I had no idea this person, out of everybody in the group, had that pain. But whatever happened, the cosmic Christ, used my physical vehicle and my hand with his energy to heal this woman. And I
Yes.
have nothing. And again, like I said, I take credit for nothing. I'm humble in my cosmic work, always
I
humble.
don't. I don't neither because I know it wasn't me. It was Christ that did it.
Absolutely.
I'm just a conduit. I'm just a vessel here on earth that He
Right.
uses in
That's
many
right.
different ways.
That's right. That's all we are, conduits. We're not special. I mean, you
No,
could say we're special, but we're not special. It's just when we're chosen for that purpose. It can happen to any star seed here, any person that's spiritually in tune and alignment with the very loving frequencies. If your frequencies are not all messed up, you could end up being in a situation where somebody's on a street and you go over there and you're that person that lives and walks the walk and talks the talk, that you end up helping that person in ways that you never thought you'd help that person. So it can happen
exactly.
to anybody, light worker, star seed, what have you. You can have that happen to you. So it's interesting that you shared that experience because it's not exclusive to anybody. Anybody can be a conduit of Christ and healing if you're in a situation where that occurs. It could happen 10 years from now for you. It could be 5 years from now. It doesn't matter because because we all come from the stars. Even if you don't know that, everybody has the ability to be a conduit. We don't really talk
Yes,
about conduits, but conduits are people that are basically who are totally centered, who are ready to not even realize that they're ready to help somebody or a situation, and your vehicle, your physical body is used by the Christ to do something. So then you have to say to yourself, how does the Christ do that? Don't even think about questioning it. Just understand that the mind's going to say, how does the Christ do that? Because your 3D mind's going to say, how could you be able to do that? The brain always questions everything we do when we do things that are not normally 3D. But if you do it,
exactly.
just understand that it's supposed to be that way. If it happens tomorrow and you see somebody on a beach, on a street corner, and they're crying or something or whatever's going on, you might be just that person that's going to be the one to help them, you know?
Exactly. And I think
Basically, yeah, that's it.
all the things that's happened to me through my life, that put me through the tests, different tests, very tests or trials. I don't know what you want to call it. I was told by somebody I know. They said, "Well, the reason why you went through all that is because he wants to use you in a way he's never used you before." So I don't know.
Right.
I'm still waiting.
Well, you know what? You don't have to wait. Just enjoy doing your light work, being who you are, Cliff. And when the cosmic Christ needs to use anybody out here in the audience or beyond here, or wherever they are in the world that's not watching this show, that is doing the good spiritual stuff, having the positive contacts with the space people, all that stuff. The only time that you will be a conduit is if you need to be, if you're used to be a conduit for a specific purpose.
Exactly.
That's the only reason. We don't have to be conduits all the time, nor should we be. A lot of times we just have to be who we are and do our light work, do our spiritual cosmic work while we're living on Earth, and do our mission work. And as long as we're all doing that, everybody's in good shape. Everybody out there watching this around the world is in very good shape. It's just really just do what we are supposed to do, whatever that is. There's no supposed to's really. Um, it's just a matter of being yourself and being who you are. And I think if that's what people do, um, you'll be fine. Like tomorrow morning, I'm not saying, okay, now I've got to do this. I got to go down the street and heal this person and try to heal this person. No, you don't, unless you're being given in a certain moment when you're in a situation like a workshop, or not even a workshop, but wherever you are, you might be that person, guy or gal or whatever, that it could be a family member in your house, it could be a cousin or anything, a stranger. You might be activated to do something that's going to help that person because you're on earth to
Exactly.
do that. We're all on here on earth to do things to help other people that have no idea what's going on, right?
That's
That's what
right.
we're here for.
That's right. Special, specific moments that
And
we're meant to do that.
that's what I tell them all the time. I said, I'm here for you to use me in any way that you have to. That's what
Right.
I tell them.
That's exactly it. I mean,
I never know what's going to happen. It could happen right now. It could happen tomorrow. I never know.
right.
But he knows that I'm here and I'm ready to be one of his vessels or whatever you want to call it.
That's right. It's just it's good we brought this up because I don't usually talk about the term conduit, but I mean I've talked about channeling and how to stay away from channeling, and I still say that stay away from channeling, no matter how beautiful it sounds. The channeling is not going to get you to where you need to be. It's just someone's higher self that's channeling. Facebook is notorious for it. Conduit, the
Well,
topic conduit. The conduit
conduit's
topic is
more,
important.
yeah, conduit is more. To tell you the truth, I don't even know what you're talking about when you say channeling. I've never heard of it before. I've
Yeah,
heard of
well, that's
conduit.
interesting. You never heard the word.
No, I've never heard of it
Though that
until I came
terminology.
on this program.
Well, if you're on
So
Facebook, you'd hear about it all the time because there's a
well, I've been on
unbelievable.
Facebook, but the only thing I ever see on Facebook is oh God, what do they call that? I can't even think of it. It's right
Psychic
on tip of my tongue.
readers,
Huh?
the psychic card readers.
Well, not the psychic card readers and
Are you talking
um
about the people that throw cards up in the air while they're on live somewhere? There are a couple of
yeah,
those people.
those
They're
people.
throwing they have the neon lights behind them on Facebook or
Yeah,
TikTok or whatever, and it's almost like you're going into some sort of a club for a drink, and they have these
that's
neon
what it
lights, and
feels like.
they have a big crystal ball, and they're there wearing they almost look like they're gypsies, and they have the
Yeah.
cards there, and then they say,
I
"Oh,
laugh at some of the way they dress. It's like, okay, here's another clown.
and they have the big crystal ball like this, the huge crystal
Yes.
ball. You can almost see their face above it, but the ball's so big, and then they're flipping the cards up in the air behind the ball, and it's just amazing. I'm like sitting there.
Yeah.
This is what you're doing for 2 hours. This is
It's
2 hours
crazy.
of that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But you know me, I just say it the way it is. The commander's always. I've been around too long on the social media circuit to see
Well,
all the
that's why I
garbage
like
goes
this
on.
program because you tell people the way it is and you don't try to beat around the bush, and neither do I. If I have something to say, I say it, and if they like it, they like it, and if they don't, they don't. But
And,
I don't mislead anybody.
but I
I
don't. I
tell them
don't beat. I never beat around the bush because you get stuck in the bush and they have to find your way out of the
exactly,
bush. If you're in a forest, at least you have a trail to walk on.
exactly.
So watch out for the bush. I have a very quick
I
cosmic sense in yours, Cliff. You
I
don't know
did
where I'm
learn
going to come
something.
from.
I did learn something on there the other day from a survivalist, though, and I didn't notice, and neither did my friend who I stay with here. If you're ever out in the woods, I don't know, Friends of Fairies, you go out in the woods a lot, but you probably know your woods. But if you ever get lost, did you know that if you aim your watch the 3 o'clock position towards the sun, that between 12 and 3 and 5 and 9, if you drew a line diagonally, that points north and south.
Really?
I never knew that.
And I've never realized that. I told my friend. He said I didn't know that. I said, well, I just heard it. But yeah, if you wherever the sun is, if you aim the 3 at the sun, and then you draw a diagonal line right between 12 and 3,
Hmm.
and 6 and 9, it would be on an angle that points north and south. And I didn't know that. I haven't tried it yet, but
Well, when you try, you let us know what happens.
I'll let you know. I'll let you
And
know.
and just to let people know, welcome to the group, everybody. The group. This is the TV program Encounters. I want to welcome all the new people. If you've never watched our show before, let me give some. Have April up in Vermont. She is an active person up in northern Vermont. She is in contact with cosmic beings of light always. She operates in a very high frequency. Cliff also operates in a very beautiful frequency of light.
And I'm in
As
the
one of our
mountains.
he's in the
I'm in
mountains,
Tennessee.
and
I'm right across from Clinch Valley, the Clinch Mountains in Tennessee. They're right
in
across the street.
Tennessee. And
Yes.
me, I'm down, kind of not in the mountains here in Connecticut.
He's in the
Uh,
valley.
I'm in a valley. I'm trying to get to
Valley
the
boy.
mountain. I've been trying to get into the mountains from the valley, but I'll tell you, the mountains keep getting higher and higher. And say, wait, what are you guys doing? Turn the mountains up higher and higher. The commander wants to get up there. I'm just kidding you, folks. I've been up to the mountains. Believe me. I used to live in Plainfield, Vermont, and so I know what the mountains are like. And the thing is, what we're talking about is just the beauty of being who we are. It's nice when you can get to that level. I almost forgot what I was going to say now, but I was going to say is also we're at 20,000 likes right now. I want to get up to 100,000 likes. We have 162 multi-dimensional, beautiful people here. Everybody, don't start doing the work. We have a few people tapping, and I know that everybody's not tapping. I like to get everybody involved in this show. That's one thing when you're a regular viewer of our show, everybody's not left out. No one's left behind. Like that movie Left Behind. We don't leave anybody behind here. Everybody tap, tap, tap. We want to get to 100,000 before 12:30 tonight in the morning on the East Coast. So I am aware. My eyes do look at the numbers, and I will once in a while go back up and say, oh wait, we're only at 40,000. You gotta be kidding me. So everybody tap, tap, tap. Okay. Everybody help. Everybody follow each other, get involved, get interactive. That's what this show is all about, right? We're not going to have you fall asleep here, folks. Can't go to sleep until I'm off the air. Not
Oh
happening.
boy. Yeah, I followed
Yeah.
everybody. Everybody that comes on here, I follow. Now I
Change the
figured out how
channel.
to do it.
We're bringing Change the Channel on. She said, am I having more guests? You are the third guest. Change the Channel is joining us right here on Encounters Worldwide, the #1 UFO spiritual talk show.
Hello,
Hello.
change the channel.
Hello. I
Welcome.
saw you there. I saw you. I do read the comments. Welcome
Well,
to the
thank
show.
you. Thanks for letting me join. I thought about wanting to join, but I've been watching your show every once in a while I'm scrolling through here, and I can't say that I've had an encounter personally, but
Mm-hmm.
more and more my consciousness is opening up to it. But I did want to share an experience that I had, and I was kind of curious if your viewers have ever heard of there's a group. I guess it's a group. I haven't really fully gotten into full contact with them, but there's a group out in Vegas where I used to live. There's a story behind it, but it's called Neighbors of the Universe. I
Neighbors of
don't
the
know if
Universe. Interesting.
that sounds familiar to anybody, but I just kind of wanted to share my story real fast because
Oh, take your time. You don't have to share it fast. Go ahead and share it
it's
slowly, too.
just it's puzzling to me why it happened, but I know it was also very a metaphysical experience that was connected to, encounter and dealing with the galactics and all of that. So I guess I'll start when I lived in Vegas, it was during COVID. And because of the lockdowns, I lived close to Frenchman Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone knows about that area, it's like right outside before you go to Lake Mead, and it's
Mm-hmm.
next to the Nellis Air Force Base.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Okay.
and it's known to have a lot of sightings and things like that. But because I lived close there, I would just drive up to like a little hilly part, and
Mm-hmm.
I'd walk there, quite often. And it was like mountainous terrain, but not
Mm-hmm.
super dangerous. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and there was one time I brought my roommate with me, and we went on this hike. I showed him my favorite spot, and we were taking a walk. And this was the week I decided that I was going to pick up garbage along this area because it had frustrated me so much that there was garbage all over the place. It was just, I had like 5 giant bags of garbage that I had
Oh my
collected in
gosh.
one time. It was just awful, and it upset me because I feel like that's part of my spiritual purpose is to be a steward of the earth. And
Yes.
so we're walking up to this little hilly spot that I love to sit at, and I see these papers on the ground, and immediately I'm like, oh my gosh, who is littering? Like, I'm just upset automatically, like it was triggering me. But I looked at the papers, and it looked like a trail of cards on the floor, on the ground. So I'm following this trail. It's going up towards the spot that I like to sit at and look at the skyline and all of that. My favorite spot. And it's a trail of business cards. And me and my friend, we see this old man, he's Latino, and not old, like maybe he's like 65. And
Right.
I'm like, hey, are these yours? And there's a language barrier, but we look at it and it says, Neighbors of the Universe, preparing mankind for somehow, like I forgot what the exact words were, but it's pretty much preparing mankind for disclosure and becoming a galactic society, pretty much. And
Interesting.
the email was wow 2025. So I think that would
Really?
be like the big date that they're expecting. But he said some things along the lines that his family had worked with the Air Force Base, and they have this group that somehow is preparing for disclosure and galactic
Interesting.
community. So we're like, oh, this is so cool. I've been thinking about aliens and all this stuff. And so we go home and we put in the email, the YouTube. He had a YouTube at the time. And it was like a clarion call video for the new leaders of the free world, with like preparing for kind of almost like a new earth type of experience, but like calling for the leaders of the new world that was going to be created out of this galactic disclosure. And I was like looking at my friend, I was like, this looks really interesting, but I knew in my spirit that I wasn't ready for it.
Right.
So I kind of let it go. I ignored it for a few years. And then he pulls the business card out of his wallet like a few months ago, and he's like, you remember I still have this, right? And I
Right.
was like, oh, damn, maybe we should call the phone number and see what happens.
Did you do
So we
that?
call the phone number, and the person answers the phone, and we're like,
Really?
hi, is this Neighbors of the Universe?
Yeah,
And
what
they're
happened?
like, yes, but because of the language barrier, we could get like no information, and they wouldn't give us any further information through email, which they translated. They were just like, oh, whenever you're in Vegas again, contact us.
Oh, wait, did they speak English? The people
They
neighbors of
were
the
they
universe?
were speaking Spanish.
Oh, they're Spanish. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a
So
bummer though if
like
you can't.
it was really, really interesting. And that was the only like pull or call that I felt like happened specifically for me, because it was my favorite spot. They knew how to draw my attention through
Yeah.
throwing papers on the ground. And I was like, I don't even know if that man was a real man. Like,
Right. You're
was
like,
my
who is this
thought,
person?
you
Yeah,
know.
that's very interesting.
It's
That's pretty interesting.
super puzzling, but
It is puzzling.
yeah, so I was just curious if any of your listeners or your viewers have ever heard of such a thing, or if even your contacts that you connect with. I don't know
Yeah,
if
I mean
that's a
Las
possibility,
Vegas.
but
Well, my friend Athena, who's with the Ashtar Command, who I've known for many years, who I worked with. We did workshops together where people came from all over the world to Connecticut and other places that she went where people came. She was a world traveler with the Ashtar Command. She's been to India. She's in Las Vegas. She lives in
mm,
Las Vegas. Hey, UFO Mania. Good to see my friend in Japan. I might try to bring UFO Mania up in Japan in a little bit, have him speak about the whole thing with spaceships in Japan.
wow.
So we might try. I'm going to try to bring our friend in Japan up here too for the first time live. But I think what you're saying is there's been a lot of interest, and Lake Mead also is a place where people who don't know the galactic history of Lake Mead, that has dried up a lot because of the drought. They found all kinds of stuff in Lake Mead that are
Ooh.
Earth-based related old things that were in the lake. They did a whole thing, a story about it, I think, last year. But Lake Mead is also where Valiant Thor, if people study Valiant Thor or any things about Valiant Thor, Victor 1, Spaceship, Valiant Thor, I'm giving you keywords here. If you study that, you'll actually uh, see things about Victor 1. And Victor 1, for those that do not understand what it was, is a major spaceship, a galactic ship that is it's cloaked. It's
Mm.
cloaked over Lake Mead. Now we know
Wow.
Lake Mead is in many ways dried up.
Yeah.
The ship
Hmm.
is over Lake Mead. It's been there for a number of decades. Out of that ship, over 200 vessels or ships, smaller ships, um, at the time would go over around the planet to monitor the Earth. They monitor what we do in environment, everything, and they come from the bigger ship was Victor 1.
Hmm.
Okay, so if you study anything, for those of you who have only been around for 20 years or 25 years in your life or whatever, and you never heard of this thing, Dr. Frank E. Stranges, who was a friend of mine, he died. I don't think he died of natural. I think he fell or something. I don't remember what
Mm.
happened. But he was on my show probably over 10 years ago before he died. I'd say longer than that, maybe. But he actually uh, was in contact with Valiant Thor, who actually, with Dr. Stranges, Dr. Stranges used to go to Washington. He was invited by the president at the time, and he
Oh.
was in the White House visiting at times. But Valiant Thor is actually a space being, a Christ being of light. He would say he was from Venus, but he wasn't from Venus, but he was from another planet. And they met with Valiant Thor. And if you read any of the stories about Valiant Thor from Dr. Strange's, who wrote a book about it, you'll read the book where he talks about Valiant Thor and the space beings that from Victor 1. It's a fascinating story because Las Vegas is where their ship is. It's if I don't know if it's still there now. It was there for many decades, cloaked over Lake Mead. And for those that were able to sense the energy, a matter of fact, when Dr. Frank Stranges was alive, he says, when I was on their ship, he says he looked younger. The vibrational
Mhm.
pattern in the ship allowed him to actually not age, but look way younger. When he came off the ship, he went back to looking whatever his human age was back in Las Vegas. And what they would do is the space people would pull up with a car, an old car, right? This is back in the 60s or 70s, I think, whatever. And they would take him out to Lake Mead, where he would be taken aboard a spaceship, which was Victor 1. This is all true. And I know not everybody here knows these stories, but I do, and I only learned about them later in years when I was an adult. When I was growing up as a kid, all this stuff was happening. I had no idea because I wasn't reading books about spaceships or UFOs. I was going to school. I didn't know anything about that. But yeah, all this stuff is very true. So when you mention Las Vegas, outside of Las Vegas and the desert area, um, there's been over the decades, many people have had encounters with star people. They land their ships or flying saucers in the desert at an undisclosed location. It can be the middle of the night. You're traveling on some desert road on a state highway, and there's a spaceship landing, and you go aboard the ship. That
Hmm.
was common. That was a common theme in the 60s and 70s throughout the West Coast and the desert areas. Many of the star people would communicate with an Earth human, and they would meet at a specific location in the desert, away from city lights and buildings and everything.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Could I ask you, for somebody who is a little bit like timid about, like, I feel more open now,
hmm
to receiving like contact, but how would I go about kind of like loosening that, that leftover, I don't know, intimidation of
Intimidation.
contact?
Okay,
Yeah.
are you talking about the fear of contact?
I guess I wouldn't really consider it fear.
Okay.
I mean, it's probably to some degree fear and, old programming of, religious programming and media programming and things like
hmm
that. But I definitely feel like if the people that or the beings that others are contacting, if they were negative, we would have already
Okay.
had very bad problems anyway, on
Right.
Earth. You know what I mean? So I do feel like it is part of my future. I've
hmm
actually, when I really sit down and think about like long
hmm
term plans, there's something that comes up in my spirit, and it talks about ambassadorship for the
hmm
galactic
hmm
community, because I
Ah.
love traveling, and I've always felt that traveling um, uh, would be like a bigger
hmm
purpose in my life. And
hmm
something spoke to my spirit and said that I would be an ambassador for Earth
hmm
in the galactic
Interesting. You want
community.
me to, want me to, beautifully said. I can help you with that. As I hear stories people know, I will get information. My mind, my consciousness works very quickly here. So I'm not working in the human consciousness when I'm hearing your story. I'm going to operate in a different sense of consciousness.
Hmm.
So in terms of being an ambassador, yes, you will. I don't know when that'll be. I do know in terms of contact for you, you live in a very beautiful spot to be able to go into the desert. And the one thing that you will know is that when you want to make contact, if you have a group of people that are in the same sense of consciousness as you are, that are willing to go out without fear, the first thing, and I talk about CE5 on this show. As you watch my show regularly, you'll find this out. We are trained people, and our my friend Chesno here, a number of us here, friends with fairies. She has contact all the time with the star beings in Vermont, and she has real contacts and sees real spaceships of light. So when you in where you are outside of Las Vegas, there's been an historical understanding through the decades of people like Dr. Strange's having contact with Valiant Thor. You can also meditate in Christ consciousness. That's the key thing.
Oh,
Always
yes.
operate in Christ consciousness. And when you want to make the contact, say that download the Dr. Stephen Greer app. If you don't have it, it's like $9.99. If you have an iPhone, you can download it on iPhone, or if you have an Android phone, download it. Read the protocol. There's tons of beautiful things that have been added on for the meditations. You can have 2 or 3 people get together, find a place in the desert that you feel is a beautiful spot, and go out there and experiment with doing Christ meditation using the protocol, and you'll have no problem. It's as simple
Awesome.
as that. You
Awesome.
know,
Yeah, I'm actually in Wisconsin now. I
I'm in
lived in Vegas
Wisconsin.
for a year, but I have always lived around Lake Michigan. So Milwaukee, Kenosha area, and
Okay.
now I'm a little bit further out, but the rumor around the Great Lakes is that Lake Michigan is pretty much like a portal
hmm
of some sort.
And do you feel that energy from the lake if you live up in that area?
Have always loved water, but I definitely feel like a pull. Like there's always like roots, like energetic roots
hmm
being pulled back to that area, and the
hmm
people that live in Kenosha particularly, whenever we're talking about moving or leaving state or whatever, people always have to move like at least 3 times to truly leave. And I don't know if
Yeah.
that's just habit or if it's energetic or whatever, but I definitely feel something when I'm around there. I don't feel negative, but I definitely feel
Right.
the energy.
Right. Yeah. So let me, now that I know where you are, I can tell you about Lake Michigan, the lake area, the lake region of that part of the earth. That lake area is an opening where there are many spaceships that come in and out of that lake area. I'm not even saying that they don't come in from the lake, or that in the lake there's not any ET bases in the actual waters there. From my looking at the energies of the lake for many years quietly, and so much activity in the lake area of that part of the planet, there's a number of things going on there that I'm going to share with people. Now, I don't read any websites, as you know. I don't read any books about it. I've watched documentaries on UFOs regarding that. Excuse me, but that's just documentaries. When I look at those things, I say, okay, that's interesting. So this is what I'm going to, for people in the lake area, this is what I'm going to share with you. And I'm glad you're up there in Wisconsin, whatever. That in the lake area, there is a galactic portal or an opening that exists there constantly. It can open and close at will. Ships that are coming from beyond Earth will go and open that galactic portal over the lake. I also, in my understandings, without having any websites to look at or any things to look at, I'm going to give you information that you're not going to find in the internet. You're not going to find it. So listen carefully. In the lake itself, there are, in the depths of areas of that lake, there are openings that go in deep in the lake. Those openings also go into an area into the inner earth. There are inner earth openings, not just in the traditional sense. People know of the inner earth openings in Antarctica, North Pole, South Pole. That's the traditional knowledge, right? But that's not the only openings to the inner earth. There are inner earth openings in the North Atlantic in Scandinavia. There are inner earth openings in various parts of the world. As I said earlier, below the Sphinx in the desert outside of Cairo, where the Sphinx is, there is, in the depths of going deep down, they'd have to dig pretty deep. There is a tunnel and a transport system that exists there that goes into the inner earth. But they've not found it yet. It exists, it's there. Whether they find it or not, I don't know that they will, but it is there. I had years ago, unfortunately, I threw all this stuff out. I had some friends of mine in Tennessee, actually, with Clifford. I had some friends that sent me a whole bunch of stuff years ago, back in the early 90s. I had map charts that were charting the openings from where the pyramids are to take you into the inner earth. But I didn't save any of that stuff. I should have kept it. But it does exist. And what I'm trying to tell you is, in the lake region, there are, in the deepest parts of the lake, there are they have to go into the lake with radar equipment. They still won't be able to find it. There are entrances into the inner earth. There's an entrance in New York State that we went to where we did our C5s. There's an old mine. We called it Magnetic Mine Road in Brewster, New York. So I'm going to share a story with you. We had 20 people with us. We used to go out there pretty regularly back in the 90s. And a lot of stuff would happen with the UFO subject in terms of UFO sightings. There was a mine there, a mine that goes in there. Someone told us that there was an entrance in the mine where there was a certain area of the mine where you went into, there was a tunnel. The tunnel had a transportation tubular structure they told us about, and we were going to go in there, but it was dangerous. We never went in there, but we knew that we were pretty close to finding it. We were like this big reservoir where the sightings would happen, and there were things called stone chambers, which were very ancient, and we were in the stone chamber across from the other side of the reservoir doing a meditation with our group. We had about 10 or 15 people in the stone chamber, and we were doing a meditation, which is now would be considered a C5, to bring in the starships. And then we were looking for this tunnel. So it was an entrance here. We never found it, but there was a transportation structure, they said, that would take you into the unearth. We never found it, but we know it existed. So there are entrances all over the world in places, including in Tibet, which is in the Himalayan mountains, that Tibetans actually protect, or Tibetan monks that protect an entrance that no one can go in, that actually no one talks about it, that takes you into the Agartha network, which is the inner earth. So for people that have never heard this before on encounters, I'm sharing some really important information for you. So make some notes. Wise Girl, I've been to one in Mexico. She's been to one in Mexico. Wise Girl has 150 followers. So Wise Girl, we want to get 50 more people to follow you, and I want to hear your story about the one in Mexico. Wise Girl, we have 160 people on here, so let's everybody follow Wise Girl, and we'll try to get her up here to talk about the one in Mexico. Because I would definitely believe it, because with the pyramids in Mexico and everything, I would believe there would have to be some sort of an entrance there, and just in Central and South America, absolutely that would be true.
Sure. Do you, by chance, know of anything about the mountains in Spain, the Montserrat Mountains in
No,
Barcelona?
but tell me, what have you heard about the mountains in Spain? I don't know about that.
As far as I know, well, I'm asking just because it's part of my family's heritage. My maternal grandmother's last name is named after the mountain, but it is considered a sacred site where they found one of the statues of one of the Black Madonnas. And it's one of the only sites that worship their Christ and Mary as brown. And they call it the Black Madonna. But the history behind it was important in the history of Germany a little bit, because one of Hitler's generals, or like higher up men, he went there for some reason to he was looking for the Holy Grail in the mountain. And because who is the composer? There was German composers that were writing about the mountains, and they had used a name that was similar to how it's spelled. And for a long time, people were believing that those mountains were the mountains in which the Knights Templar and people like that were protecting the Holy Grail in the mountain. But obviously he didn't find it and things like that. So that's a little bit of myth. But it is considered one of close to like a chakra point, but also like an energy vortex like Sedona is. So it's like considered the Sedona of Barcelona or Europe, I guess.
So it makes sense. So it'd be for people out there who would, let's say, if I was wanting to go to Sedona on a spiritual trip to get enlightened or do that, it would be like a Sedona for people that live in Spain or that region to go there to experience UFOs and other metaphysical things, correct?
Yes, correct. And there has been sightings and how do you call it, when people go missing and things of that nature as well. But I was just curious if you knew anything about it on a galactic level.
Not really, I don't. But you're enlightening me about that, so I'm gonna have to do some studying now that you told me this.
Well, thank you. I feel like the past 10 years, I've realized over a little while that I have been a grid worker for the past, well, probably my whole life. I was born in one of the oldest cities in Germany, in Augsburg, and also many composers and awakened people came from Bavaria in that area. But also I lived in Wisconsin pretty much all my life. But in the past 7 years, I've kind of did a little tour of the U.S. trying to find what I like and where I am drawn to. And I decided I started with Chicago because it was a little bit out of the way. Then I
Mm-hmm.
moved to New York City. Then
Mm-hmm.
I moved to Las Vegas and I spent 6 months in Southern Oregon, about an hour away from Mount Shasta. And
Mm-hmm.
right before I moved, I was able to take a little drive up there. Nothing very out of the ordinary happened for me
Yeah.
there. But I've also lived in South Carolina and now back
Wow.
home in Wisconsin.
Wow. You're
But
all over the place. That's pretty cool.
yeah, and the crazy part is I've always felt drawn to those places
Mm-hmm.
and inspired like from a higher place rather than
Mm-hmm.
just, oh, I just want to go because I want to go.
Right.
And
Right.
I've found out that people sometimes call that grid working, where you're
Mm-hmm.
placed in specific areas um, to lighten up the
Right.
experience there, to anchor the light in that space.
And you're and change. You are an incredible person. Your story is incredible because
Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. You work in a. I read energy. Your beingness is very pure. You're very cosmically Christed in your whole energy field. So you
Thank
have
you.
no problems wherever you go. You will bring, whenever you meet somebody, a stranger, you bring joy to people. I can tell right now, looking at my audience here, everybody loves you. Your energy is just pure delight. And, if I were in a room with like 20 kids and you were doing a storytelling, every kid would be paying attention to you until you were done telling the story.
That's
You
funny
are
because
a
I was
totally,
actually a daycare provider for a few months.
really.
Yeah, I
See, I didn't
was.
know that.
Yep, just from September till January.
Wow, see, I
Yeah,
must have
that's
picked
funny.
up on that or something because
You did.
you're just, I do that. I pick up, you're a storyteller, but your story is cosmically enlightening and your story is captivating. Your
Thank
story is
you
a
so much.
story that wherever you go, whatever you learn, and if you ever have encounters, when you start having encounters with the space people, and you'll be able to tell that story well, and people will listen.
I
You'll
love
be
that.
able to
Thank you
tell that
so
story without
much.
a problem. Oh, you're
I'm
most welcome.
actually,
I am.
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm saying I'm following you now.
Great.
So yeah, definitely you're on my radar
Thank you so much.
in a good way. Yeah.
I'm actually reading I've had it for so long, but I'm finally opening up the autobiography of a yogi. And it
Oh,
is,
interesting.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but it's one of the first yogis that brought yoga to the United States.
Oh,
And
interesting.
it talks about his life in India and his devotion to the Himalayas. And my walk has been more of on the like spiritual, first religious, then spiritual, now metaphysical. So it's kind
Mm-hmm.
of taken on very different, many flavors.
Mm-hmm.
But I love taking in information from all sorts of experiences, and that one really just it talks about all the special gifts that the yogis, gifts and abilities that the yogis had, and the things that they
Mm-hmm.
could do with their bodies
Mm.
and things like that, and talks about Christ enlightenment, which is what they had, and
Yes.
it's really awesome to read. So I'm looking forward to finishing it.
Well, I can't wait to see
Yeah.
you do your C5 and up at the lake with the right people. And I
Yeah.
know you'll have some beautiful experiences. What'll probably happen, and what I'm getting is it'll be first a visual experience when the star people do connect in their ships with you, and they will, because you are of that frequency. You don't have to get there. Your frequency is so high up there. Do you realize how much energy that you hold?
I have been aware of it because it's kind of challenged my life a little bit,
Hmm.
but I've had a hard time directing that frequency and that energy for it to take me
Hmm.
somewhere.
Yeah. So I'm looking at you and feeling your energy from remotely where I am, and I do read people's energies, which is something I only realized. Mm, Probably the last few years. But on social media, I've never really tried to even do it. It wasn't even trying to do it. It just is natural for me to do that. Maybe it's because I don't come from here. But I do know that because you operate at such a high frequency, when you do the protocol of contact with the C5 where you are, the star people that you are connected with will be there. And when you mentioned earlier, I don't forget anything a person says, you talked about being an ambassador to the earth,
Yes.
correct? So when that word ambassador is used, it's a beautiful word. Beautiful word. What it means is when the planetary system of Earth, and this is for everybody to understand, when contact does officially happen, and it's not based on the Pentagon or any Earth-based government or the Air Force telling us when it's going to happen. When it happens, when it is facilitated and activated by the many, many people on this planet who are ready to do it, when that contact happens for you, change, you'll be an ambassador representative, and there'll be many ambassadors to the planet. The word ambassador has no meaning of power or ego or anything. It just means you're going to be the best steward and representative of of the contact of the planetary switch over from where we are now to where we're going. And when you get there, you'll meet other people that are going to be representational of the best parts of who we are. They will be ambassadors of the planet Earth, just like they're ambassadors to the planet whatever from different other
Hmm.
planetary systems. When the space people visit us, they're ambassadors from many galactic civilizations. So you'll be
Yes.
part of a greater grouping of beings from other planets. You'll be an ambassador from the planet Earth when that time comes. You realize that,
Right.
right?
Yeah, I've been kind of not shown, but I
Mm-hmm.
imagine it. Like I feel it because I'm less visual, but I
Mm-hmm.
feel I'm an empath, so I feel it
Mm-hmm.
as similar to something like the United Nations, pretty much,
Mm-hmm.
or a UN
Yes.
ambassador, where
That's what I
there's a
feel.
Yes.
circle and there's different people from
Yes.
everywhere, but they're galactic instead of
Yes. You're
earthly.
good. You're going to be I'm not even questioning this. My information is that I'm being told you're going to be an ambassador. You're going to be one of the ambassadors of our planet.
I look
And again,
forward
I
to
don't
it.
have a timeline to it, but
Yes.
just know that that is what you told me earlier.
Yeah.
I feel very strongly that's what's going to happen with you.
So my intuition kind of connects it to the ice wall theory. Is that a
Hmm.
potential? Like, do you know about the
Oh, I
ice
know
wall
about
theory?
that. Oh,
Where
there's all
there's
kinds of people arguing about ice walls, videotaping things that you don't know if they're real or not. Put it this way, putting the ice wall aside, there is, and that's a whole nother thing, and I'm glad you asked that question. So for many people that have heard or seen people creating all these videos about an ice wall, let me delve into that here. I'm CmdrAleon from Mars, host of WESU-FM's Sunday morning show, which is the Cosmic Eye for over 21 years. I'm also not only from Mars, I work with the Ashtar Galactic Command, so I don't come from here. I come from Mars originally. I am human, just to give people who are new to the show why I know what I know. I'm a galactic cosmic book. I don't read most of any websites. I look at videos. I might hear stories. I might say, "Oh, that's interesting." So let me talk about. If you're talking about Antarctica, I can talk on that. Would you like me to talk on that?
Yeah, primarily more so whether or not there's the other continents outside of it, because that's what it's showing me, or
Mm-hmm.
at least that's what it's connected my consciousness to, is
Okay.
Yeah,
that I
there's
would be interceding
Okay.
for the other communities
Okay.
or other people outside of the ice wall that exists that don't know about our continents,
Mm-hmm.
and making
So
bridging connections between them
and I'm going to
for
also
Earth. But yeah.
I'll let Friends with Ferry and then Cliff also chime in on this. But I will tell you about this. I studied this for the last since last year, since it's popped up on TikTok and YouTube about the so-called ice wall. So let's throw the ice wall out the window for a minute to get
Mhm,
right to it. There is things that have been lied about on our planet by people in power.
mhm,
Uh, Antarctica, what we know of Antarctica is only what we've seen. There's no wall that prevents traveling of, let's say, conventional air jets or whatever over Antarctica. but there is a zone that is been put there by all the planetary powers of our Earth, that there's a zone around that Antarctica where a regular commercial airliner like Southwest Airlines or major airline, JetBlue or whatever, they're not allowed to go over specific areas of the Antarctica area. So let me explain this. And this is not anything I'm reading on the internet. I've studied some things about Antarctica over the years before there was a term which was only termed on internet called ice wall. The ice wall terminology didn't exist before the internet. It only existed recently in the last few years. Antarctica is an interesting place. Antarctica is also where there are entrances into the inner Earth. Also, on the surface of Antarctica, on the closed off areas, I do believe there is an area of Antarctica that is not of ice. There's no ice. That's a different climate. It's like going from a cold climate to a tranquil, warm climate. Do you understand what I mean, Change?
Yes.
So this is what I'm going to say about Antarctica. And again, people can take or leave what I'm going to say here. I don't get my information from anybody's visual CGI creations or showing clipping images together of people walking around the ice or whatever. I don't do that. So I'm going to give you as clear information. You're not going to find this on the internet, what I'm going to say. What I'm going to tell you is that there are parts of Antarctica that are not ice, that are zoned off from commercial travel. Why? Because they are not iced. And secondly, in the uniced areas, there are also very advanced civilizations that exist. And they are existing on the surface of what is called Antarctica. Not in the inner Earth, but also on the surface. Interesting, isn't it? On the surface of the area that's zoned off, because there is an area zoned off, an agreement in the United Nations, an area of Antarctica is zoned off from public use. You cannot physically travel there. Military.
That's the truth. That is the truth. That is absolutely correct, Commander.
Yeah. The space beings I'm in communication with, they know this to be true. They can travel there anytime they want because nothing can stop them. But let me just say this, just to be very clear. There is an area of Antarctica on the surface of the planet. It's always been active with very advanced civilizations. Our governments know about them. Our governments are aware of them. And that's why no one's able to get, it has nothing to do with the ice wall. It has to do with an imaginary zone off, meaning that for decades, every major government in the world that's involved in this has agreed to keep it silent, to not let people know that there is this activity and existence for decades beyond our existence of advanced people living on our surface world that live in the area of Antarctica that is of a different temperature. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you how the temperature is able to stay warm. The reason why the temperature is warmer in this particular part of Antarctica, it's on a different frequency, a different vibration. It has nothing to do with the sun, the night, the day, whatever. They're operating their vibrational patterns of this area on a different frequency, and they're also operating in a climate that is very different than the normal Earth-based climate. Similar to on the inner Earth, there is a sun. There, the climate is very tranquil. There are very advanced people. And in Antarctica, in this area that is zoned off, there is advanced civilizations that do live. I never talked about this before, but now I am. I'm like, all this information is coming out of me right now. So understand this and take notes. You're not going to find this information on any specific website or any YouTube channel.
Can I chime in a little bit there?
Yeah, go ahead, friends.
Also, just a little FYI thrown in there. An opening to Inner Earth is also there as well, which is why it is so hush hush.
Right, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Kadar Manka, who I'm in telepathic communications with, is listening to me right now as I speak this information. I'm a telepathic communicator, which I've didn't say tonight, but I telepathically have been communicating with Kadaramanka before the internet ever existed. So I've been a telepath for many, many years. I don't channel. Everything I tell or experience or share is accurate. I've never had inaccurate information. No, of course I can say that. It doesn't mean that you're going to believe me or not. And that doesn't matter to me either. Because if it mattered to me, then I wouldn't be saying anything. But there is a section, as Friends with Fairy April said, of course, the inner Earth, South Pole, North Pole, in Antarctica, a vibrational frequency exists that is way different than the patterns of the vibration of our planet, where there is advanced people living. They have advanced technology, they have advanced spaceships. They also are connected with those that are on the inner Earth. They have chosen to live on the surface away from the normal population of our planet. But they do exist, and they are there right now. And our governments of the world know about that, and that area is zoned off from commercial airline flight. It's just totally zoned off. If you try to go there, you would be intercepted by some sort of international air force from either Russia, the United States, or some country, a special force that's there that is there to stop people from trying to get there.
I heard that Putin and Russia broke that Antarctic treaty. Is that true?
I don't know. I don't know about that. I haven't studied that really.
Okay.
I'd have to really look into that from my news background to see if that's actually true.
Gotcha.
I will check into that to see if that's true, and then I'll let you know about that. But I don't know anything about it. I just know what I know on the galactic level. I think that that's, to answer your question more in depthly, that's what I am. That's what I get. That's what's going on over there.
Well,
there's not an ice wall. There's just there's a zone off, to put it in Earth words, a zone off. There's a blockage that is not like, it's not a physical wall. It's just there's a rule of thumb from the United Nations about Antarctica. And that rule is that the airline flights can never go over that area. If they did and people looked out the window, they'd see that there's no ice. They'd start seeing things that are there that they weren't supposed to see. And but that's all going to end, because we're going into a period of a change that is going to be when the star people from other planetary systems come to Earth, and people need to note this, that when that happens, then the reunification between the inner Earth people in the Antarctica area who are advanced and the star people will happen. Not only that, that will be the direct contact with every single person on this planet. Every single person.
That's awesome.
So I hope I answered your question.
You sure did. I guess the other part of that is, do you believe that there are other continents outside of what we are told that the globe is, which was kind of connecting to that ice wall?
Can you repeat the question again just for one moment?
Yeah. Do you believe that there are other continents and land masses and communities, kind of like what you were just talking about, but that the globe is more than what is allowed, that we're allowed to know about?
You mean the Earth itself? You're saying is the Earth more than what we definitely know? Okay, I can answer that. Yes. So the thing is, and I will answer that question directly now. Now, right now, as your talk show host, I'm operating, as you'll know, right now my consciousness is shifted. So I'm going to answer that question. Okay. I feel an energy around me that's beautiful right now, just like a flowing energy that's just really beautiful right now. So I want to share this with you. Give me a moment. I'm going to give you information. Our planetary system, the Earth, is not only a globe. You know, we've been taught to believe the way certain things are. Every decade, whether you're 20 years old now, 30, 40, 70, 80, whatever you are watching this show, there is a specific difference. Okay, my mind is now like operating on a different conscious level. So understand this, that on the globe, there are certain things that look like 3D world. your New York City, you got London. I'll use cities as a reference point. Peking, Tokyo, Japan, whatever. Then you have the other vibrational patterns. If we are operating in a different vibrational frequency, if we vibrate at a different frequency, not only will we hear things, we will see things differently. So, example, if you live in a city like New York, okay, New York looks like New York. But if you're standing on that same street in New York and your vibration now flips to another vibrational pattern, the New York you're seeing might look totally different. The people that you see might look totally different. Why? Because now you're not on the same earth. You're now vibrating. Well, you are on the same earth, but you're now vibrating and seeing things more visually than you're able to see. So right now, what you see outside your door is what you see. What you see around you, the houses, the buildings, whatever you see. You're still on the same planet, but if you are able to open your consciousness up to 100% galactic consciousness, you will see everything that you're not seeing. You will see the star, like right now, you're sitting where you are. Everyone's sitting in their room or house or whatever. If you were able to switch on a galactic switch on you and just say, oh, I'm going to turn it on right now, there could be 10 space people walking right by you, but right now you're sitting in that room and you're not seeing anything. You might feel that they're there, and you will, because now you're opening up without thinking about it. But they are there.
They're in like the fourth and fifth dimension.
Exactly.
Not even in fourth and fifth. It's beyond putting a name to it. They are operating in a galactic frequency more than a dimension. They're operating in a galactic frequency. Yeah. See, we can't get stuck on Earth. People get stuck in, we're going to the fourth dimension, we're going to the fifth dimension, we're going to the sixth dimension, we're going to the seventh dimension. It has nothing to do with it. There are dimensions. It's a matter of opening up to galactic consciousness. When your whole physical body, people, is opened up to galactic consciousness, dimensions don't matter anymore, because you're now operating in a frequency that is multidimensional in reality. Do you understand?
I do.
I know April does. She's living that reality in Vermont 24/7.
Yep.
So don't get caught up in dimensions, because that's going to get you saying, we have to wait till we get to this dimension to get to the other dimension, which might take 10,000 years to get to the other dimension. It has nothing to do with that. Okay, folks? Don't worry about getting to the other dimension. Just learn to center in Christ consciousness, connect with your star beingness, with your higher self. And when we get to contact period, it has nothing to do with dimensions. It has to do with the great awakening of human understanding that we have never been alone in the universe. We're part of the universe. We are star children and star beings. And we will now expand to a more beautiful experience than we've ever had in our whole life.
Exactly.
That's the beauty, right?
You
I
sing
know,
it.
and I know my galactic family is listening to me. I mean, Kadarmanka, I know all of the beings of light that I am connected with are listening to me all over the universe right now. And it's one of those things tonight where I know it, I feel it in my bones, and I have to go with my feelings. When I feel that energy, that my brothers and sisters from afar are listening to me, it reverberates throughout the multiverse. You see, that's the beauty of what happens with what I do. Tiffany's saying she hears ships. I don't doubt that you don't hear ships, that you do hear ships. The energy frequencies are really, really strong on a beautiful way on my show tonight. And I just know that my space brothers will heal me, and they're hearing me. Just make sure my back is healed, and make sure that I get rid of that pain. It's gone away a lot, but I want to just be gone by the time I get up tomorrow morning. I'm able to do this show because my consciousness has not been affected. As I was saying to April earlier, what happened earlier in the week with me, and I've been asking Jesus, the cosmic Christ, to heal me, as I've done for other people as a conduit. And I'm feeling, my bottom back is feeling better. So I'm sure it'll be, I want it to go away completely,
Are you aware of the energy centers, like the Kundalini and the things like that? Like your physical energy centers that are in your body?
Oh yeah, I'm aware of all those energy centers because I work in the Christ consciousness. A lot of times I help other people that need help, and I quietly sometimes will say when I'm having situations, I don't think of myself. I think of others first. And but
Yeah.
I've been working on myself today, because I've been meditating a lot. I didn't go out today. I stayed away from public people because I couldn't. I just didn't. This thing was really kind of bothering me. So I was going to do some things today, and I'm glad I didn't go anywhere or try to go anywhere.
Okay, because I had similar back pain. I don't know if yours was an injury or not, but there's
No,
been 2 times in my life where I've had really, really intense back pain, but it was also connected to, my spiritual energy and my spiritual walk, where
oh,
I
interesting.
was kind
Okay,
of very blocked off in certain aspects in my life. And as soon as I kind of let that go and started shifting my frequency, that's like right away, like, because sometimes emotion gets stored in your body as well that can cause physical pains.
yeah.
And that's what I was experiencing.
Hmm.
That's what I've been
Yes.
going through.
Yes, so I think a lot of people might going through different things like that, but I've worked on it, and I'm able to do my show tonight. And
Awesome.
obviously, I'm just like I'm a cosmic fighter. When I have once in a while when these things happen to me, even though I am living in that galactic frequency, I deal with it. I tell myself, okay, we're going to heal this thing. I did meditations on and off today. I fell asleep and went out of body a few times. So yeah, I understand that very much so.
Awesome.
Very beautiful. So it's good to have everybody here. We
Thank you
have
so much.
60. Oh yeah, and we have 65,000. We want to get up to 100,000. So we'll stay on here till 1 a.m. I'll be sleeping out here tonight. And so I want to get to 100,000 likes tonight. So let's get everybody involved and everybody follow everybody. And, I'm not egotistical here. I want everybody to be uplifted on here. So if you don't have a lot of followers, everybody follow everybody. Follow me. I want to get up to 100,000 followers before summer to kind of reach out to the people about our show encounters. So that's really important.
And everybody
And
follow Wise Girl so we can get her up here. She's at
yeah,
102. She needs it,
where's Wise Girl? She
or she's at
Wise Girl,
155 now. She's still here.
150. Wise Girl, we're going to get her up there. Wise Girl, we need another 50 people to follow Wise Girl. Yeah, so if 50 people out of 195 are not following, if just right now, 50 people just say to Wise Girl, go to her little icon. She's got the blue, white, and light blue and a little dot. Press her and press the follow button. We will get her on here. I want to interview her about Mexico.
Okay, I followed her.
Okay, everybody follow her. It's really kind of an important thing to do things. When I hear stories like she's sharing, I want to hear what she has to say about that. And you're watching Encounters. This is the #1 rated top UFO spiritual talk show on social media. Forget CNN and all those other people. Oh, no problem, Wise Girl. We'll definitely gently bring you on here, and you'll have no problem. Everyone's had a first time on my show, and all the people here have known that. Change is the first time on here.
This
Cliff,
is only
you
my
remember
third, so don't feel scared.
third time. He's
Yeah.
not scared. And Friends of
No.
Furry, she started at
It's very
this.
comfortable. Everybody on here understands everything that you're going through.
Yeah, and we have James the rabbit. James is he's a rabbit. His name is James. And if you've ever spoken to a rabbit, I have now communicated with a rabbit for a long time now. He is known as a rabbit. He comes from the inner earth, and I'm going to bring. He knows how to speak English. He's learned our language. He's a rabbit named James. Good morning. James.
Good morning, everybody. Greetings from the rabbit hole. I
Hey,
come
James, how you
bringing
doing?
tidings of good joy and happiness. And everybody be empowered in knowing that you are worthy of happiness, you are worthy of love, you are worthy of peace, and you shall receive it through your good works. Hallelujah.
Yeah, and see, he can speak English. And John Connors, good evening. I think I see John in there too. All the scrolling goes up so quickly, so I just want to acknowledge John too. And James is on planet Earth, but he is from the inner rabbit civilization of rabbits, and so we're glad to have him with us.
Well,
Hey, James,
thank
how's it
you,
going?
Gail, for the flowers, and thank you. Hello, everybody. They just call you can call me Thumper.
There you go. And what's happening, James, in the world of Florida down there in your part of the earth?
So listen to this. There's this video going around about Lockheed Martin and like this metamaterial stuff that they've got.
Right.
So I talked to our friend in the military
Yes.
and it's confirmed that not only have they had it, but they've had it for years, and they've mastered this meta material where now they can take crafts, create these crafts, and the crafts can change their shape.
Really?
Our crafts, yeah.
Art crafts, yeah. That's pretty crazy. And are the crafts that can change their shape, are they banned by Air Force people? Who's running them?
This is one of those Lockheed Martin black projects.
Live projects. Interesting. And you're hearing it first. We know where that's coming from, too. So the information James is giving you is actually accurate from our friend. Very interesting. Has she said anything about a contact or anything related to what's happening with the UFOs?
Well, what she's saying is that now that they're flying these metamaterial crafts around,
Mm-hmm.
the UFOs are pretty much staying away from them because they don't want to be mistaken for them now.
Yeah,
Because
people get
she's saying
confused.
that we are going to start seeing a lot of more. We're going to see a lot more of these fake crafts
Ah, yes.
around. Not to be
Interesting.
confused, because he said these fake crafts are going to have some weird energy around them because it's not
Yeah.
fully they have the technology down, but they still don't have the containment down as far as like the
Yeah.
radiation and stuff.
See, that's the thing. The radiation thing, that'll be a dead giveaway. The other part of it is, if it's a real galactic spaceship of light, the energies will be different, and it's a and I know that when we do CE5, it's also not only a Christed meditation, but when we do CE5s, we know what to look for. Now we have to look for this. We'll be able to feel the energy, because if the energy doesn't feel right,
There's lots of activity going on in the Middle East right now that is not getting reported on at all. Not even the public. And that's the scary part. The scary part is the amount of suppression that's been going on with these large contact stories in the Middle East.
are you talking about the actual spaceship sightings that these are not ours, correct? In the Middle East?
Right.
Yeah, no, absolutely correct. I've been sensing a lot of energy of off-planet activity there. I not talked about it, but I can feel it. As you know, I pick up things, and yeah, they're not talking about it, and it's happening. They don't want people to know.
No, they want us to keep us, there's going to come a time where I hate to say it, but there is going to be that conflict where the government is going to be, posing as these ETs for malintent. And, we have to have discernment on that and know that when it happens, listen, if ETs wanted to hurt us, we would have been hurt a long time ago.
That's
So
Decades ago.
anything that might appear that way is either human or something nefarious.
Yeah, it's one or the other. Yeah, there's no question about it. If you're having good contact, and like I said, when I was a kid, my first contact, was with men and women in light blue spaceship outfits in Long Island in a cul-de-sac going upstairs, looking out the window. I had no idea why I went up, and there was a spaceship there hovering. When I came back up again, it was still there, and that was real, So if you do have real activity, now that Lockheed Martin is able to create this technology, understand one thing: even if they can change and shape their shift, if you feel icky energy coming from it, then you just go away from. You don't even go near it. You don't even go near it because it's ours. It's either ours or it's lower or if you have a lower dimensional ET grouping from the third dimension that have advanced technology, go away from it. I've said before, always operate in Christ consciousness. James knows whenever I talked about this with everybody, uh, you always want to operate and learn to be in cosmic Christ consciousness to protect yourself, because you're going to have these things happening that are going to be making people think that the space people are all out here to get us, and they're not. And that's what the government is going to try to do. Like, I don't believe in any kind of fake invasion, but I do believe we've created technology to try to confuse the public as to what's real and what's not real.
Yeah,
Right.
I've heard that they're going to do holograms of UFOs that's going to look real, but it's not real. It's just a hologram too.
Well, no,
Yeah,
Clifford, I think
believing.
those are the shifting ones. Those are the crafts that can
Oh,
shift and change.
what you were talking about? Yeah,
I think it's a combination.
Uh-huh.
Well,
and it's all
I
to
was on
trick
your
us.
I was asking a question on one of your shows a few months ago, I think, Commander,
Mm-hmm.
and you were I had asked you about the whole
Hmm.
plot Project Bluebeam, which is kind of along the lines with what we're talking about, like the staged things.
Right.
And if I'm remembering correctly, you had answered whether or not the um, actual galactic ETs would allow for that to happen, because it's such a mainstream like situation right now where even people that are not operating in
Mm-hmm.
consciousness, they are
Mm-hmm.
hearing about these things.
Right.
But I think your answer was no, if I'm
And
not
yeah,
mistaken.
and so I want to, yeah, and it was no, because Project Bluebeam is way different than what my friend James is talking about. This is where you're having actual physical craft. With Project Bluebeam, you'll see people, when people post real spaceship videos, and you can go on my main page. I'm very careful with the videos I post from people, which are actually they're not terrestrial, Earth-based craft, so to speak. When you deal with Project Bluebeam, that was started through the internet many moons ago when I first came on, when they had the AOL computer thing where it would make that screeching noise with a little telephone to connect. That's
Mm.
before they had it. So, people have to be very careful. There's a lot of things that are thrown out there. But in terms of real information, James, the information he provides comes from our friend that's in the military. And, that's real. But that's dealing with
And,
our revert.
it's kind of like the same concept though, because the concept behind Project Bluebeam is that some government agency is going to try to make it look like an alien invasion when it's really them. And who
Right.
knows? Who knows? Because I wouldn't put anything past these crazy bastards.
Oh, in
Absolutely.
our government, yeah, I wouldn't put anything past them, but I would not call it Project Bluebeam. That was created by somebody somewhere, just like everything on the internet. But we could just go with the information that our friend gave us to James. That is real. That's real
Absolutely.
information coming from a real person, and she's not
Right.
calling it a green bean or a blue beam or a stream beam or whatever. But so
Oh,
we
maybe
can go
a
with.
string bean. It could be a string bean.
It could be a carrot too. You could be
Could
throwing
be a
carrots
carrot.
out there.
I love carrots.
I know you
So
do. I
if
know
I
he
can share
does.
this tiny bit
Yeah.
of, hopefully it will encourage. I don't know if it's necessarily the absolute truth, but
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
know from my uh, what I've learned and heard from many sources is that the thing that is keeping disclosure from happening is free will of the collective. Can you say yay or nay to that, Commander?
Well, I'll take first shots at that, and then my panel here can also join in. This is Encounters. and this is the Spiritual UFO Talk Show on TikTok. I'm your host from Mars. I also work with the Ashtar Galactic Command, which I don't always say, but I am also working with the Ashtar Command before there was internet. So I will speak on that question.
Right, there's two parts to that question, actually. So
Okay.
I guess it would be whether or not disclosure is dependent on the free will of the collective right now. Would be the first part.
It's not dependent on the free will. Contact's going to happen whether it's free will or not. What it's going to be is it's basically a divine timing. So on Earth,
Right.
there is what we call a timeline. From the galactic civilizations, the star nations, the star people, there's no timeline. There is a knowingness of when it's supposed to happen. For example, the original information I was getting before 2023 was I felt a real energy shift, that there was going to be a contact. And the contact date or the year was 2027. Then our contact in the military, I asked her when she was on our show last year, that I was getting 2027, that we were going to have contact with the people from other planetary worlds. And I said, does anybody in the Pentagon aware of that? And she said, I believe, as I remember, not in distinctly word for word, that yes, they're aware, that the Pentagon's aware of 2027. Then last year, recently, another shift has occurred. And that other shift that occurred is that we are going to see more sightings in 2024 around the Earth. Now, again, now we have to use discernment, because what James says is true, absolutely true. We have to discern with those that Lockheed Martin are going to be playing with in our atmosphere versus those that are the star people. We'll be able to know who the star people are by just using your feelings. So when you do see something, close your eyes and meditate for a moment to see whether you feel it's right or not. If it is a starship from a star nation or a star system, you should know instinctively. You should be able to know that. If it is not of a star nation, if it is a Lockheed Martin craft, you will know that only because you'll not feel any good energy. You'll feel radiation or whatever's going on. They will not be able to distinctly create a spaceship on Earth that will duplicate or imitate of the energy frequencies of a higher vibrational frequency. So you'll know the differences by that. What's the other part of your question?
So I guess if I can
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
rephrase the timeline thing, if it's sort of like they're waiting for the collective to be ready, not like everyone, but like for a percentage of our people to be accepting to their existence
Yeah, so
per se.
and I'll switch it over in a second to James and everybody else. So same way your question is, they're waiting, but they're not waiting. They're waiting to see that we are in a level of consciousness where they will be accepted, that we will not be like starting to shoot rockets at them,
Right.
which wouldn't work anyway, because their ships can destroy the rockets and shut down the electrical systems before these rockets ever get off the planet. So that's not even a question. But there is a mass awakening of consciousness now than there was 30 years ago. Now, it's not billions of people that are awake, but we have millions and millions of humans that are waking up every day. So I'm going to switch it over to James and then the rest of the panel.
Yeah, it's really important that you mentioned that, Commander, because she was asking about disclosure, and what you have to remember about disclosure is there's the government that we know about, then there's the government above that, and then there's the government above that.
Right.
And the hidden hand per se is not going to allow full disclosure. That's never going to happen. So what we as the society, or you call the collective, have to do is we have to be the ones to force that vibration
Stand that ass over.
increase.
Let that coochie breathe. Shake that ass, bitch.
Hands
Oh,
on your knees.
okay.
Hands
Wait.
on your knees.
Oh,
Hands on your knees.
Hands on your knees.
okay. I just took that
Wow.
person out. They said, "May I join?" I made the big mistake that I do once in a blue moon on this show of honoring bringing somebody up,
Totally.
but I sent
That
them
was
back out
funny.
into the universe. I took them back out. They didn't use any foul language, but I did take them out. I'm pretty quick here, so they're not going to be here anymore.
He kept a good beat though. But
He
so
did keep a good
anyway,
beat. Thank you, moderator, for blocking that person.
any, anyway, we have to make sure that we're raising the vibration level, that we're having discernment, and that we are just living a good life. We shouldn't worry about anybody helping us other than humans. Humans are here to help ourselves, and once we help ourselves, whatever type of contact or rapture or whatever the heck is going to happen on its own time.
Right.
That's right.
Absolutely.
And there is going to be contact. There is definitely. I'm pretty sure it'll be by 2027. But again, like James says, timelines change. Everything can shift
And
in
I'm
two
out.
seconds. You know, right?
Yep,
Yes.
I got to bounce out of the hole now.
Thank
Okay,
you.
I'll let you go.
Bye.
Hey, James,
Okay,
thanks for
James.
stopping
You
in,
all have
man.
a great night.
You too, man. You take care of yourself. And let's see here. I'm going to go to Friends with Furry and then Clifford. Any comments on the two questions or so forth?
I think you said it all, Commander. I think that that it's essentially it's going to be up to us, just
Yeah,
by doing the right thing, and then the right contacts will be happening, and as long as we are operating in Christ consciousness, they'll
yeah,
they'll let us know when they're ready.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Wise Girl, let's see where Wise Girl. Wise Girl has 187 followers. We have 182 people here. We need to get her over 200, folks. Can we get people to follow her right now? If you're not following, she has the little blue, white, light blue, and dark little black dot, Wise Girl. So everybody follow Wise Girl that's not following her. If she gets 11, 12 more people or 13 more people, I can bring her on here and she can share with us what you were saying earlier. So we're going to get her up here. Let me see where she is. We're pretty close.
I just wanted to tie in my question into what the conversation that
Mm-hmm.
was about the uh, potential government stage and things of that nature. Now,
Okay.
if the government does decide that they're going to set stage and let the whole world know, hey, here's
Mm-hmm.
the invasion, here's aliens or whatever you call them,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't that give us an opportunity for the actual galactic beings to come online and integrate, because they initially are the ones telling us about it opposed to the actual
Right.
galactics coming?
That'll never happen. I don't think they'll
Yeah.
ever come clean with anything. And at this
They're
point,
not.
they don't have a choice. They don't have a choice. The galactic
They
beings
really don't.
come when they come. They're gonna come
Yeah.
on their time when they're all here, and they're gonna make disclosure happen.
Right. And I said this in 2022 when I first came on here. I've stated it on my radio show on NPR radio for the last number of years. But right now, more than anything else, I can tell you our military contact that we get information from time to time that, even within the Pentagon, there's fights going on that from a younger generation that wants to see this whole thing disclosed. And then you have the older generals, some of them that aren't alive anymore, from the 50s and 40s or whatever, that
Yeah.
want everything to be. We've had 70 years of cover up on the planet regarding the subject. And that's a long time,
Sure is.
it really is. And so when you think about that, you know, the fact that they have a UFO group within the Pentagon is great, but what has it done? I mean, frankly, what have they honestly done? They disclosed a few things. They had a little hoopla on the CNN and all these networks for a little bit, and then it went quiet. They still have their website up. I haven't been on their website for a while. I don't even know if they've updated any information. Said what they were going to do was have new videos, some people within the Air Force and other places that are having encounters, that they were going to have them on their website. I haven't been there. I will check it out probably after I get off of here. But the thing is, if we are to depend on the British government, the United States government, the Russian government, or any government to tell us and disclose the truth about star people or space people from other planets, don't hold your breath too long. Really, just don't, because it's not going to happen.
Oh,
And
definitely. I didn't think
uh,
it would. I just
I know,
was
I kind of,
commenting on.
no,
Yeah.
I know. I'm glad you asked the question. I know it's not going to happen,
Yeah.
but that question is really good because there are people out there that might think, oh, I've been thinking that question too. I'm really happy you asked it because
Yeah.
people, I know that it's not going to happen through any government in the world. It's not. Like
Of
James said
course.
before, the UFO activity over the Middle East, over Israel, none of they're not acknowledging it. Anybody in the government is in Israel. They're not talking about it in that region. It's hushed up, just like the whole subject matter for them is. If people in Israel knew that there were spaceships that have been interacting over the war area, whenever there's wars like that, the galactic ships do show up. Now, I don't know what they're doing or not doing. They might be monitoring the situation. Well, they most likely are monitoring the situation. But, the thing is, things will not change if we wait for any government of the world, any Pentagon of any country to tell us the truth, because they're not going to. And if they do, I think, and I'm glad Change asked that question because it's a good question. You probably have a question that many people in my audience are thinking about, and you're just not going to do it. I think
Mhm.
that if we're going to have disclosure, it's going to come on this show. This is where
Right.
you're going to hear it. If there's going to be a disclosure, you're not going to hear it on CNN, NBC, Fox News, BBC, NBC, CBC, or whatever it is, China News
Yeah.
Agency, the Russian TV network, or whatever. It's going to
Right.
happen here on this show.
Right.
And the
So it
reason why
kind
I
of
said, yeah,
sorry. It kind of
go ahead.
negates the theory of fake invasion anyway, since it would be staged pretty
Right,
much.
it
It
would be
would be a
staged.
staged
If
disclosure.
Yeah.
it did, if there was a staged event, and it could be, I don't know if there will be a staged event. That's just been an internet thing that's been going on for years.
Right.
Somebody said, "Oh, there'll be a staged event." Doesn't mean there will be. It just means somebody came up with the idea that it'll be a staged event. It took off like a hotcake.
Right.
So there's that part of the internet that actually believes that, and there are other people that don't know if that's actually true. So it's, time will tell whether it's going to be a staged event or not. But I can tell you there will be a galactic event, whether people believe it or not. That has nothing to do with any staging. It has to do with the divine timing that we are now going to see, and we are there. And people who watch my show know that some of you have been on my show. You've talked about your visitations, encounters with space people coming into your house or condo, outside your home, seeing spaceships. You've told me your stories. That's that. So there is interactive contact happening, but not on a massive scale, at least that we know of. Excuse me. So I think when mass contact happens, the Pentagons of the world have nothing to do. They're afraid right now. The people that are in those levels of top secret security, they know what's going to happen. They are absolutely afraid of what's going to happen because they've been lying so long that there are people that believe the lies, and you can believe them if you want, or you can believe the truth. The truth is that those lies are going to be falling apart. All right. Part of the matrix. I talk about busting the matrix out there, everybody. Part of busting that matrix is not believing the lies, not believing the Pentagon, not believing the British Ministry of Defense, not believing any of those people in the Russian Defense Department that are top security clearance. And all these people, believe it or not, all these imaginary conflicts we have with Russia and all these things, do you not understand something? That behind closed doors, they all communicate with each other about the UFOs,
Yeah.
about the ETs. Do you think that the Russians don't communicate with top security people in the Pentagon regarding what's going on in outer space? Come on now, folks, wake up. They do. There's no Cold War going on. These people want to have us believe that there's conflicts between these countries to get our minds away from the subject
Right.
of UFOs and away from the subject of ETs. They want us to talk. They want us to be glued to our TV set, and there's another conflict coming, between this country and that country. When in fact, The biggest thing is what's happening in outer space.
So, what is the reason for the Galactics to even be working with the government in the first place to the degree that they do if they know that the government is pretty
Well,
much like not on
a
our
good,
side?
well, they're not working. That's the thing. The Galactics aren't working with the government. The only people
Okay.
working with the government are what you call back in the 40s and 50s onward. There was an agreement made, and General Eisenhower was very aware of it. There were two meetings. For those that weren't born back in the 60s, I'll tell you about this. There were two meetings held, well, more than maybe two. General Eisenhower met with both the Zeta, and he also met with what is called the Starnet people, the Ashtar Command people. When he met with the Ashtar Command people, these are space men and women from other planetary worlds of light. They came here with knowledge to help our planet. They were going to help us live in a more advanced, peaceful world. General Eisenhower did not disagree with what they were going to do, but he was guided more by his advisors to go with the Zeta, who were going to give us what you call flying saucer technology, reverse engineered technology. So he made an agreement to go with the Zeta, disregarding the option in the 60s when this meeting was held, when he was alive, to go with the Ashtar Command, which actually, as I stated, has existed beyond any internet website, does exist, is real, and that represents all the positive beings from other planets, right? So he chose to go that way. That's why you have the reversed engineer technology, things that Lockheed Martin has, that James was talking about. All those things exist because, and Area 51 and other places, that was given by the Zeta, who are third dimensional beings that don't live in a higher frequency, but yet they have advanced spaceship or craft that can operate in this particular universe. All right. So what I'm getting at is that the galactics that are of the star nations or the star people don't have any connection with our governments.
Okay.
They don't work within our governments. They don't communicate. They don't tell the Pentagon what to do. The Pentagon has done everything not to connect with the star nations or the star beings from other planetary worlds of light. So, but it's a great question. So people might not know that there is definitely a difference between the lower vibrational advanced civilizations that are not operating in our best interest, that are working only because of an agreement with our government, that's a secret agreement, to give reverse engineered technology, such as what has happened with Lockheed Martin and so forth. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah, absolutely. So the Zetas are they're not they are space people or they're not
They
from they're
the
third
Zeta.
dimensional, you said?
Well, they're space people. I've heard stories from some people that they said the taller Zetas or some of the Zetas don't agree with other Zetas. It's just like human
Gotcha.
beings.
They're just
There are
lower
Zetas.
vibrational entities.
Yeah, there's some Zetas that don't agree with what they've been doing for decades on our planet with people. Just like in any system, you're going to have disagreements upon your population, and I'm sure that's true with the Zetas.
Mm-hmm.
But they have worked along with some other lower vibrational beings to do things they were doing since the 60s and 70s that were not in they were against universal law. They were doing them,
Oh,
but they weren't supposed to do them. Okay. Another group, that's a great question too. So understand really what's happening here is that time has ended. 30 years ago it was still prevalent up until the mid 90s, maybe somewhere in that area before the end of the 90s. There, any of it's that's still going on, what you call the workings within governments with these other beings, they're going to have to end because we're going into a galactic shift here that's
mm-hmm.
going to affect everybody on the planet, even those that are not awakened. Your whole body, vibrational frequency, everything you feel, the sun's going to have a lot to do with it. There's going to be a lot of things happening, earth changes happening as well, affected not by Earth, just our own problems that we've created, but also galactically, the energy coming into the Earth is going to shake up a lot of people. it's going to change a lot of things. And the end result of that, if you focus and meditate and learn how to get centered, all that will be very positive. But you have to know what you're doing. People have to get their energy together, know what they're doing in order to understand and how to facilitate with yourself that vibrational frequency,
Yes.
that spiritual frequency.
It's funny because I feel like you read my thought telepathically.
Oh, I do
Actually,
that. I do that.
because I was gonna touch on the frequency shift, the
Mm-hmm.
great shift, some people call it, and I wanted to ask you whether or not you believe in the splitting of the earths in the two earth theory.
Well, I don't believe in the splitting of the earth, but I do understand that there are multiple earth realities. Okay.
Right.
I can
That's what I
answer that
mean.
question. So yes, I kind of knew you were going to say that. So there are multiple earth realities. This is just what happens. There are multiple earth realities, people. So those that are watching this from all over the place, when we go into the new earth reality, our earth is not, we're not leaving our planet. So I want people to be very well prepared for this when this starts happening. We're not leaving anywhere. We're just going into a different vibrational frequency. So when we go into that frequency, that will be what we call a new earth. When any planet goes into a new frequency in the whole universe, in our universe, every solar system, every galaxy will be going into another frequency. Even though we don't come from that particular planet, every planetary system, every intelligence will be going to that frequency. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, it sure does. I've dabbled in uh searching through information and stuff on like the new earth theory and the old earth, the new earth timelines, things like that. I come
Mm-hmm.
across it quite often, but I'm not sure like how I sit with it because it's really hard for
Mm-hmm.
me to get a visual image of a like a physical shift
Mm-hmm.
outside of like my experience. I know
Mm-hmm.
that like I know how to feel a frequency shift within my
Right.
body, but planetarily I'm not really sure how whether it changes the visual aspects of the earth, because some people say, oh, if you shift to the new earth, it's all landscape and less people and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. Like, just there's people that don't jump over to that timeline, and then there's people who do. So it's a little bit more on the, I want to say, metaphysical slash
Right.
spiritual side of
Right.
things rather the galactic. But
Mm-hmm.
that was just something that I was curious about.
No, it's a great question. And let me just do this here. Hold on a minute. Let's see here. Let me just do this here. Let's see here. And we will do this here. I'm just pressing a little button on my thing here. So, yeah, I mean, I think the metaphysical end of it allows you to see the bigger picture. Whereas if we go into the traditional science, it keeps us limited to understanding the metaphysical, which actually answers the question. The science will just keep us going in circles. The metaphysical, cosmic understanding will get us into a higher frequency of understanding of who we are. And it's really, really key to understand that. Does that answer anything in terms of that question?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I just wanted to get your take on it.
Yeah. I just think when when I answer questions, I take a moment to either repeat my question to you, only because I want to make sure I'm going to perceive the answer and absorb the information. I
Okay.
think, yeah, that's why I do that. But I think we're in, and also as we're doing this, I'm looking at my numbers, 87.1. Everybody follow everybody. Let me see if the person about Mexico is still here. Is she still around? Do we have her in there? If you're still around, let us know. But if she's not, we'll get her on tomorrow night probably or after the game. For those that are watching football, It's now about 1:14 in the morning, and you're watching Encounters. I appreciate everybody in here, and all the stories. Change, you've been great. You've had so many, your stories, your questions have been phenomenal.
Well, thank you so
And
much.
yeah,
I'm glad I came
and
on.
yeah, and Cliff, do you have anything you want to share as well, or Friends with Furry,
I just
anything?
had one question. Do you think this Earth moving into the higher frequency has anything to do with the earthquakes that's going on around the world and
Yes.
the change in the weather?
Are you asking me that question for me?
Yeah.
Okay, I can answer that question. So, all of the things going on right now, like the earthquake that happened in Hawaii the other day, Los Angeles, it was actually Malibu. Um, you're going to see, and again, when I say these things, understand they definitely have a connection to earth changes. Not to do. It's not anything that we've done as humans. The earth. There are human things that are affecting the earth too. Don't get me wrong, but the earth changes will be the Ring of Fire. Study the Ring of Fire. The Ring of Fire is a stretch of area um, that is where a lot of the volcanic activity happens, and also the earthquakes. You're going to see a lot more of that occurring because the Earth is now going into a different frequency, or what you call a vibrational pattern. So everything's being shaken up on the planet. And understand, as things get shaken up, that is also connected with the things that are happening with your human body. So you as human beings, we as human beings, right? We as a collective, as human beings that are here watching this, we all know, and maybe you don't know, that we are now shifting our vibrational patterns of our frequency of human consciousness. The you that you were 20 years ago, a year ago, a day ago, a week ago is not the same person you are tonight. You're not the same person.
No,
There's no way you could be.
we're changing
You
every day.
We're changing every day. So
Yes.
when you get up tomorrow morning, the person you were last night, you won't be the same person. There's no way you can be. Unless you're stuck. If you're stuck, I can't unstick you and say I'm going to pull you out of being stuck. Will you just move your leg for a minute so I can get you unstuck out of the ground? I'm trying to do my best to unpull this person. Will somebody come over here and help me get them unstuck? You know what I mean? So essentially, you know what I'm saying. A person can choose to be stuck in a specific reality or get unstuck. That's up to you. No one's going to force you to be unstuck. If you want to be stuck and play the same game for another 20,000 years, that's up to you. But in reality, you're going to be shaken up anyway because everything's changing and you have no control of the change. You're part of the whole flow of it. We're all part of the universe. We're all part of the galactic universe. So what happens in the universe happens to all of us. Everybody, all of us.
Yes. Many people actually consider the weather patterns and the changes as like a birthing pain of Gaia or of the earth
Yeah,
because the earth knows that it's conscious of the shift, but before the shift and, before you have the baby, you go through the pain of,
right.
all the physical things that come with it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful way of putting it. It's a birthing process. Very well said. It's a
Thank
birthing
you.
process, right? You're really amazing. So the process of birthing is some people have a really natural flowing birth where there's no pain. Other mothers might have a different process where there's extreme pain and it's harder, but they still have the baby. So, in essence, when you look at the universe or our planet Earth and humanity, we're going through a galactic birthing process. Basically, that's really a beautiful way of putting it. We're going through a galactic birthing process. Why? We're shifting from the human that we are now to the galactic human we will become, right? So everyone in this room, everyone watching this all over the world, we are all not just humans anymore. You know that. We are going from being the human we were born into in our biological families to the galactic spiritual human being that we will be when we have contact. Your whole consciousness is shifting. Many of you are actually ready to have contact. So you're not, so it's not like it has to happen tomorrow. But when that contact happens, almost everybody that I know that's watching this show, new or old, you'll be ready for it. Do the meditation, center yourself every day in Christ consciousness. You'll be ready for that contact with the star people. You will be. Just know that you're ready. You are ready. Even if you
Now
don't know it, you're ready.
the people that know their star seeds, like when I explained everything that I could do, you said, "Well, I'm definitely a star seed." Way back on
Yeah,
the second time I was on, I think I asked that.
yeah.
When this all happens, am I going to know which group I'm with? Like, you know who you're from, and well, I know who I'm from
Oh
originally.
yeah. You will. You
Because
will.
that's
Just
what
like
I'm trying to find. I'm trying to figure out where
Good
I
question.
originated from.
right.
Same.
So, and that's why meditation is the key to that. When you go quietly into meditation, whether it be Sunday morning or tonight or whatever day, that's going to be the way you're going to find out where you're from. You're going to say, I am only going to operate in Christ consciousness. I only wish to connect with my star family in Christ consciousness. And I wish to reconnect with my star family in Christ consciousness through my meditation. And if you do that on a regular basis, they'll respond to you. Now, if they don't respond right away, it's because they're trying to figure out where you are in the universe, planet Earth. So if you both do that, you will eventually have that contact. And then I want to hear an update as to when that happens, when you have time to just get comfortable with it after a couple times of contact, come back on the show and say, oh, Commander, it worked. I made contact. I made telepathic contact. I want to know. I want to hear the outcome of that.
It's absolutely beautiful. It really is.
Yeah, it is beautiful. And Rebecca says, it's true, Rebecca, because I wasn't supposed to remember a lot of stuff until lately, when I was older, But you are now, Rebecca, supposed to remember. So, Rebecca, I'm reading Rebecca. If you meditate, Rebecca, you'll remember. You'll make contact again with your star family.
Was
Yeah.
there a specific star system that Jesus or the Christ, if you believe in the physical person, is there a story behind whether he came from a star planet or a star system? Sorry.
Commander
I
can
thought,
tell all about it.
what friend, April, what you going to say? I'm sorry, April was saying something.
I was saying, oh yes, and the commander can tell you all about it. He knows all about it, so he can
And,
let you
and,
know.
and April also has contact with her star family in Vermont, and she's a real a contactee. I'll tell you from my experience, my ability to remember, the only thing I never remember is going on the ship. The command doesn't want me to remember that part of it. That's the only part they don't want me to remember. The reason why, if I remember being on a big spaceship with the Ashtar Command, they think that I will not want to come back here and do my mission work. So that's the reason why. And so I understand that. I understand that very much so. But in terms of, for me, I'm a telepathic communicator. So, and we did reach over 102,000 likes. So I appreciate that. We got over 100,000 likes. Thank you, everybody, for making that happen. And so, as I absorb the information based on your question, I've been in telepathic communications for many years. My contact happened before the internet with the being called Kedar Manka. He is with the Sagittarian Council of the Ashtar Galactic Command. And he happens to be my father. Now, I had a biological father and a biological mother, just like everybody else on planet. You were born here, seated here with a biological family. My father was a beautiful person on Earth. My father off planet is a galactic person who is from space. And I showed a picture of him one time here. I'll show it again. The rendition of the portrait of him shows him in an outfit that's a little bit different. But my father is from space, Kedar Manka. I've actually telepathically communicated with him. I've had him on my radio show. He gets in alignment with my frequency, Kedar Manka, and I don't channel anything. He can run the control boards on the radio station, and he can see everything. That's when I really have the direct, not only telepathic link up, but it's a frequency vibrational pattern connection. It might be something most Earth people don't understand, but it's something I've done for years. So yes, to answer your question, I don't know if it does, but that is how, and he and I connect always on a telepathic level.
Sure.
Does
Yeah,
that help?
I think she was also asking about Jesus, and she wanted to know about his story.
Oh, Jesus?
Yeah.
The only thing,
Which system he came from.
I can tell you that Jesus, give me a moment to reflect on that. Jesus actually, when he came here, in historical references, the information on Jesus is limited on Earth based. It's all based on religious references and the Roman Empire. But the Jesus is actually beyond the Earth. He came from the stars. In terms of a star system, some people think they know what planet he might have come from, but Jesus actually comes and lives, not necessarily lives, I should say, but he actually resides in the galactic levels on the golden ship of light, which is as big as the Earth. That's not where he come from. That's where he goes. When I take people on journeys called Journey Off Planet here in Connecticut and other places, I've done my workshops in the warmer weather. I teach them how to go to the golden ship of light. That's where the big galactic councils reside. Jesus was taken back on a spaceship, a huge ship, when he left what they call the tombs, and people said you see Jesus walking in the fields, and all of a sudden there's a big cloud, and he gets lifted into the clouds. So I decoded all that years ago. In the religion, they don't decode anything, but
Right.
there is a code there. Jesus was taken on to a big spaceship off planet, and when people say Jesus never died, why didn't he never die? Because there's no death. He actually was from the stars. He regenerated his body. He could not die, nor does anybody die that is in a regenerated star body beyond Earth in the higher frequencies of light, in the Christ consciousness of light. That's what occurred. So Jesus is alive and well. If he appears, he can appear. He's multidimensional, being that he can appear at will, and he has. People have documented it.
Yep.
Just like any star being. People here have had encounters with star people say, oh, a star person went through my wall or appeared in my bed. You know,
Yes.
and what do you think that's all about? That's because they are operating in a completely higher frequency or vibrational pattern that transcends our understanding of time and space. Does that
Very
answer your
good.
question?
It definitely does. Yeah. The reason behind it is I feel the most connected with Christ and the Magdalene energies. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if you know anything about that, but it's from Mary Magdalene,
Mm-hmm.
the spiritual background that she had as well as a
Yes.
unit of them.
And I've never really studied her much, so I know about her, but I've not studied her much to give you a real direct, honest answer of her.
Yeah, and that's all right. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
though.
So we're going to kind of wind it down. It's 1:30. I'll be sleeping out here in what I call the living room studios, and and I just want everyone to know that we all are going to get where we need to be. You're all of you. You know, if you don't feel you're there yet, or why are they there and I'm not here, it's not a competition. On encounters, I've heard so many great stories, many great questions. Everybody's going to get where they need to be. The one thing I do as a talk show host on radio and TV, I did my intergalactic TV network on cable many years ago, is that every story is unique. Every question is important. You know, by asking questions of me, if I know the answers, like I did tonight, I will answer your questions. I can answer most questions. There are certain things I can't answer. I'm going to tell you straight out. I'm not going to make up a story about it or whatever. But, you know, it's been a great show as always tonight. This show is being recorded. It's live right now. This show will be on my YouTube channel tomorrow. At some point, we'll be putting it on YouTube. So if you missed any of tonight's show, you can watch the whole show on YouTube on my Ashtar Command Spaceship News channel on YouTube. That's where all our shows are. I want to really thank. I want to give everybody time to have a last minute comment. Our panel here. We'll go with Changed and Clifford, and then also my galactic friend April up in Vermont.
Sure. Well, I just wanted to say thank you again to everyone. And it was a real pleasure being a part of something like this. It was a challenge for me because I don't really like throwing myself out into the internet or using my voice quite often. So it's very expansive for me, an expansive experience. So thanks so much for letting me on.
Yeah, and keep us to date when you get together and start doing the C5s in Wisconsin. Let us know if anything happens. We'll bring you back on here and you can tell us what's going on up there.
Absolutely. I would love to.
Okay,
Yes,
very
James.
good.
Keep us all posted on what's going on and come back on here again.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
I
can't
enjoyed
wait
everything you
about
said.
it.
Thank you.
And we'll give it over to April. Any final words?
Any final words of wisdom?
Yes.
All right, everybody. I just wanted to say, well, thank you for having me on. And everybody have a fantastic night. And I'm glad everybody was here. And don't forget to throw in some last minute gifts for the commander. And don't forget to throw in some last minute taps too. He needs them.
Yeah, and nighttime. Everyone, nighttime, I am following you now, and I appreciate that. We'll hit you up that way. Also check my main channel out. Also, I would say, please, you don't know I have a Venmo account. I have a Cash App, so if you please will support me directly, go to my Cash App on my main channel, on my main profile. There's a link for Venmo. I'm going to leave it up unconditionally to everybody. We have 183 people here. For those that are gifted financially, if you want to do a Venmo donation, do it tonight before you go to sleep. And I know some of you probably could. So please do that. Also, your gifts here. I appreciate all the gifts. Any gifts here, TikTok gifts, I appreciate those directly to me as host of the show.
Commander?
What?
Did you pin up your galaxies?
No, I'm going to pin up the galaxies right now. Let me do this here. So I'm pinning up 2 galaxies. So we have 182 people. I'm sure out of 182 people, do the math. Somebody has over 1,000 TikTok coins. And so if we get 2 people to do the galaxy, you can do that. I have 2 galaxies. I want to know if I can actually change the numbers on that, but I haven't figured that out yet. But anyway, it's at 2 galaxies. If you press the galaxy and you have over 1,000 coins, you can give me a galaxy. So we'll see if that happens. We'll try to do that. And other than that,
Get those night vision goggles. Those are going to be awesome.
Oh yeah, we're going to bring night vision equipment. Yeah, we're going to be raising money through becoming a subscriber. That's the other thing on TikTok. I have 32 of 100 subscribers. Jackie, thank you for the galaxy. You're a blessing, Jackie. Thank you so much. Anyone out there that is over 1,000 TikTok coins, just press the galaxy and it will give me a galaxy. So waiting for that second galaxy if it's going to happen. Karen 82. I love it. That's TikTok saying that. I love the TikTok thing. It says I've achieved my goal. So we've done that. I wonder if it lets me do it again. Let me see here.
If it'll do it again.
Does it let me do it again? Set up a new goal. Okay. I can set up a new goal. I'm setting a goal up for roses. So now I have a rose goal. This is crazy. I don't know if I can change the amount of roses, but I'm pinning it. So now I have a rose goal. I'm going to play with this for a minute before I go to sleep. We're getting roses here. Lots of roses. Wow.
That's awesome.
This is great.
Yeah, send those roses.
Send those roses.
Say the commander needs love.
I don't ask much of everyone watching this show, but I can use some love too.
Whoa, it's a bid more. Look at that.
Oh, wow. That's great.
War of the roses.
I'm getting some hearts here too. Hey, Jackie. Thank you, Cat Cat. Thank
Kit
you.
Kat kicking butt.
She is. This is really. This is a good battle. I love this battle. This is the battle that I love.
Look at that.
I could stay on all night since I'm sleeping out here with just this. I can just sit here watching people gifting me different things. This would be kind of
For the
cool.
finger hearts.
Oh, look at the battle going on here, man. Jackie F, Amber,
Kit Kat's in there.
14,
Yes, Kit Kat,
Daniel. Ben's place. There you go, Ben. Hey, Pete
Pete
Star.
Star, yeah. Look at him go.
Hey, Ben's place. There he is. Oh man, we got the rose battles going on here.
Oh, yes,
Let's
we
see.
do.
I'm staying on here for this. I won't. I don't have to say anything.
This is awesome. Yes, look at him go. This is awesome.
Oh, you got a baseball cap. I like baseball. That's good, Daniel. Thank you.
Ooh, I want those fire eyes on you.
Yeah, the fire. I got a hat.
Give him the cowboy.
Tammy Lou.
Make him a galactic cowboy.
Oh, that's a good thing I don't have my cat up here. You can see the dog go chasing it. Karen, oh wow, look at that. Like Karen, I got
There you go.
now I feel like Raiders of the Lost Cause or
Galactic
whatever it is.
cowboy.
Raiders of the Lost Ark or whatever it was. Yeah. I got another pink heart coming my way. There you go. Wow. Roses, more roses. What else? I feel like, what's his name? Harrison Ford.
That's so funny.
I feel like, hey, Sonia. Oh, wow. I got lights.
Those are
Man, you just lit up my living room here. That's really good. Kit Kat, I got the ice cream. I'm hungry.
Oh, yeah.
I got the roses. I'll have some ice cream. I got plenty of cones. I'm going to pass those around. I got tons of 15 cones. I have from the refrigerator. I got a white hat. Oh man, I got a King's hat. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to wear that with the ice cream. Like Gail's giving me a hand heart. I got some other stuff. The ice cream is really taking over my refrigerator. You know, I have so many King's hats. I'm gonna have to check the crystals out on those hats.
Oh, look at there's gummy
Daniel,
bears.
I get gummy bears. I like gummy bears too. I'll eat those. I don't like the hard candy, but gummy bears are soft. I can eat those. We got Gail. Oh, we got the roses going here. Pete Star. I now feel like a man in armor.
That's funny. That one was funny.
Oh God.
The Galactic Man in Armor, CmdrAleon, at your service. I got a cuddly. Oh, that's really nice.
So cute.
Oh, you wanted the fiery eyes? There we go, the fiery eyes. I got the fiery eyes. We got the chili going here. I feel between the fiery eyes and the chili and the lightning bolt, I'm going to be up all night. I won't be able to sleep. You know, the commander's on fire. And whatever that thing is, that yellow thingy, what was that? a heart puff. Hey man, I feel really cool. You know, my mind is acting very quickly, so I can put on an act of anything I see in front of me. I feel like a whale that's traveling in the ocean.
I still have not seen the whale yet. I'm so sad I have not seen
a whale?
Yeah.
It does exist. It's a TikTok thing. It's the thing called a whale.
Yeah.
It makes a splash.
Oh my God.
I got an elephant. An elephant nose, did I get?
Yes, and ears.
My elephant nose reaches out into the universe. Let's understand that. It's a long nose. I can reach out into oh, what's that? That's a paper crane.
That's pretty.
That reminds me of my ship, a paper crane ship.
That is beautiful.
I have to adjust my body to fit into it, though. Because now a tiny Deanie, that's a happy Deanie. That's a happy one.
The Houdini.
We like that Deanie. It's not a Houdini, it's a happy Deanie. And what else is happening? What is that thing? It's a corn.
It's
a corn?
Like corn.
You know, that cowboy.
Oh, it is corn. Okay. You know, I love corn.
Or is it a croissant? I don't know. It looks like a corn.
Now, if I were out in the West somewhere in the old days, I'd say, I want some of that corn there. Let's sit around the fire. Oh, wait, was that a spaceship landing there in the desert near our corn? We have to invite those people over here to have some corn. Yep, they're getting out that flying saucer ship. We got to give them some corn. Yep. We got a Gigi going.
Thank you guys so much. Commander,
We got. I'm telling you,
awesome.
this is beautiful. I know our space brothers are watching this from the stars and saying, Commander, this is beautiful what happens right now. This is a beautiful thing. This makes up for every single thing ever. This really does. You folks are the most beautiful audience out there. Really are. When I go to the Grammy Awards, what's the Grammys? When I get my award from the Galactic Awards in Hollywood, that'll happen when we have contact. I know we're going to go to Hollywood, and
There it is.
Awesome.
I finally got to see
There's
it.
the whale.
Susan, thank
There's
you
the
for the whale. That's the whale. I love the whale.
That is
I'm gonna.
awesome.
Oh my God.
Oh,
We're having whale battles here, folks. Jackie F, thank you very much. I don't think there's
Jackie,
anybody
thank
else out there that can do a whale. I could be wrong. There might be somebody sitting there saying, "Oh, I got to get into this whale battle here." Let's see what other strange people out here can do whales.
I wanted to see that whale so bad.
And so I'm now doing a whale
And you got
challenge
two.
on my show before we go off the air. Anyone else want to do a whale? Anybody else got a whale out there? I feel like what's that actor's name? The silent. He used to have like a mustache and glasses. Anybody seen that spaceship? Anybody seen that spaceship? You know, it's the
Are you
1940s.
talking about Chaplin?
Not Chaplin. He's the other guy. He was. He had glasses on. He was a comedian. Black and white. Happy Weekend. Oh, we love that.
Oh.
He would say, "Anybody?" He didn't ever say this. I'm making it up. Anybody see that spaceship? He had a little tuxedo and everything, and he was very
Charlie
funny.
Chaplin.
Did Charlie Chaplin speak?
No, he was in silent films.
No, this was somebody else. It wasn't Charlie Chaplin.
He was the one who talked. I know he talked, but I just can't think of what his name is.
I can't think of his name. Somebody out there might remember.
I can't even.
Yeah, Groucho Marx. Lisa, you're right.
Oh yeah, Groucho.
So here's Groucho Marx. Since this is the end of the show, anybody seen a spaceship? Anybody? Am I getting his voice right? Anybody say, Ashtar command ship humming down? Any space beings out there? Anybody in space out there? I know I'm a comedian, but I'm looking for anybody out in space. That's positive. Not just anybody, but it has to be positive. Anybody in space? Oh, my cat's here. I think she wants to come up. Do you want to come up?
So get some.
I got to be careful about picking her. If my leg wasn't still hurting me a little bit, I'd pick her up, but she's here.
Oh, I hear her now, and she's like,
If you
right
come
now,
up,
we need a whale.
yeah, I'm not going to pick her up. I'm not going to pick her up right now. And I think down the rabbit holes here. Down the rabbit hole? I'm Groucho Marx down the rabbit hole. Is the rabbit hole here? Is he here? Is he still up? I thought the rabbit hole had gone down the rabbit hole. I don't know if the rabbit hole's here. Oh, my cat's going on the slide. She wants me to rub her belly. I'm telling you, I'm in a comical mood right now at the end of the show. I think the rabbit's sleeping. Well, folks, it's been a great night. I want to thank you all for being here. And please join us tomorrow night after the Super Bowl. What time is the Super Bowl? Is that done during the day on planet Earth or at night?
I think it's on like
Thank you, nighttime. And I'm going to give my cat some food because she wants some wet food. And she always asks me for food. It's almost 2 a.m. I can't believe it. So everyone, have a good night. You've been great.
Good night.
And we'll see you all tomorrow night. Same time, same cosmic channel on the top spiritual UFO show on social media. I'm going to press my little button here.
All right. Good night, everybody.
I'm taking off. I'm going on the ship. I'll catch you later.